Wahahaha! What up, everybody? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Let's see if I can. What up? What up? Bum social. What up, people? Do I have anything to talk about? What's going on, everybody? Hey, 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 hey! What's going on? What's going on, everybody? What is going on? What is going on? Moringa Manual! What up, people? Alright, let's get this. Why is that so big? I don't even know. Hey, 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 hey! What's going on? Everyone hear me okay? Everyone hear me good? Hello, brother. How are you doing? Doing well, doing well. We the people. What's up, brother? What's up? Hey, hey, welcome in. You guys are new here. This is my Wednesday night roundtable. Was doing them once first month of the Wednesday, but we moved them to twice a month. So we have a roundtable every two Wednesdays of the month. That makes sense. So a lot of people were requesting it. A lot of the herbalists wanted to come on here and help you guys and answer questions. So that's what we've been doing. So tonight's our roundtable. So come in, share the live, tap the screen. Hey, hey, friends. Hey, hey, welcome in, welcome in. Do you know who is stopping by? I do. I know a few of them, so anyone else who stops by, it's we'll see. A lot of them should be coming in late, or they'll be coming in here in a few minutes. Monica's in the house. Hey, Monica. Monica, you feel like joining us? You're more than welcome to. Monica's making some changes. If you guys don't know Monica Napier, check out her product line. She's making some changes in her product. Hey, Giselle. Guys, this is Giselle. She's probably having her own live. But you guys are more than welcome to come in if you guys are available. I don't know. I know she had a welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Hey, welcome, Giselle. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. If you guys aren't following my good friend Giselle here, she puts on tons of information and helps tons of people. She's always interviewing people that had issues, and she's able to. Hey, thanks for joining the team. Thanks, appreciate the likes and gifts. And she's always helping people and watching them on their journey, learning a lot of stuff. Her lives are very impactful. I appreciate what she does as well. She's like me, fighting the fight here. Guys, make sure you follow each other in here, helping each other out. Late live last night. I'm talking today off. Appreciate you. Hey, thank you so much. Make sure you guys are following her. She does have a lot of good people, just like myself. We do these interviews like we do, introducing you to other like-minded people, herbalist. Hey, thanks for the hat. Yay! Thanks, brother. Another farmer in the house. Guys aren't morning dew. Knowledge is another good. He'll be joining us. Giselle, you did an awesome awesome live yesterday. I think you had a supplement. I forget his name, Daniel, or I've run into him before we talked, and he has lot of knowledge, just like knowledge here actually does. I don't know if they've actually met each other. I've when he was talking about creatine, there's a lot of stuff that he doesn't cover and I know he knows, but um, as long as he's helping people, I don't have a problem with it. We don't see eye to eye a lot of things, but he is a good guy. What's up, Knowledge? How you doing, brother? Derek, yes, Derek, yeah. I've corrected Derek on a lot of misinformation that and he went back and looked at it and he said yeah, but Knowledge actually knows a lot about the supplement industry as well as herbal industries very well. I
What
think
up,
it was
everybody?
hey. So
Appreciate
there's
you having me, sir.
hey many types of creatine which he was talking about. A lot of people had a lot of questions on it, which is it has many benefits for like diabetes and stuff like that. Um, but there's so many out there that they have. If you're getting, you got to know where you're getting from and a good supplier. It's so many people put fillers and other stuff in it. It's
I don't feel like creatine would be like a go-to for diabetes,
right, right. It's not
especially
not
because
yeah,
especially because it's actually going to like you're going to need some type of increase in liver activity in order to properly process the creatine out because you got to be able to break it down and get rid of it too. And so creatine, does it is a little bit more difficult to metabolize. It's one of those things that can clog up the liver. It can cause kidney issues if you're not careful with it. And so it's definitely something to really be aware of. And for people who have kidney issues, or if you only have one kidney or anything like that, please do not please do not do creatine. Please go ahead and choose something else and find another way to take care of your health and wellness and increase your muscle activity, your hydration, your muscles. You can do this via minerals, you can do this via potassium, magnesium, things of that nature. Hey everybody, hey Grow Food. Oh my
hey,
gosh,
hey, hey.
get her up here if she wants to.
Yep.
Creatine is actually an amino acid base. um, so there's like certain amino acids that come together to form creatine. Creatine is natural to the human body. I mean, we already have it. It's essentially already naturally produced when our muscles break down via activity, stress, things of that nature. And so this is what we kind of see happening naturally in the body. And so we found a way to supplement it via the certain amino acids that go to form creatine in the body. And that's how we're able to increase, the creatine levels in people and actually, add that hydration to the muscles effect, add the increase in, physical activity and things of that nature. It's like I said, it does have its own kind of like problems when it comes to being processed out of the body for some people. And I know even when I do creatine, I cycle off of it and definitely do like some liver support stuff for a little while. So, hey, all my people, love all y'all. Appreciate y'all for being here. What you been up to from them?
Not much. Just trying to get everything together. I got some planning to do. I got a lot of planning, but I got to clear out a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff's just been piling on me. Like car went down, the truck went down. Fixed it. It keeps just different things, and I'm trying to fence everything in. At the same time, cut everything back because it's the last couple of days it's just been raining, hot, raining, hot, raining, hot. So everything's just been growing crazy.
Relatable. I feel like I've been working in the rain a lot lately, so very relatable. So Phil, to answer your question, since it seems like we're kind of, um, kind of running through this creatine thing, I'm not saying that it doesn't have that effect in the body at all, but there's probably other things that we could use that would better improve liver processes. So that's kind of what I'm saying is like, we have liver boosting herbs, we have liver boosting, it's like there's NAC and acetylcysteine, there's milk thistle, there's dandelion, and those are like some different, examples of like phase one and phase two liver cleanser. There's also glutathione, liposomal glutathione. So, I would rather do something to pick up liver activity, but really, in reality, maybe berberine, would probably be the better thing to go with, especially at first, because that's really what's going to help when it comes to, kind of filling that role that typically you would get from, say, like, your Mets. If y'all know what I'm saying, if you know I'm not trying to say like farmer names and stuff. I don't know how that's going to go in this live if I do that. So, but basically, if if you're doing your Mets and everything, and the Mets, it's like you want to stop taking the Mets, then the berberine would be the thing to do as the alternative. So, I hope that helps.
Hola.
Hey, ¿cómo estás?
Hello, my friend.
What's going on?
How are you? How are you?
Sorry if it gets loud. I'm trying to get a drink.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. Thanks for the good feedback, Phil. Yeah, so milk thistle, herbs, things like that. Like, do we have any other good examples of like liver cleansers? Maybe Jerusalem artichoke.
Moringa.
Oh, okay. All right. I wasn't aware of that one. Yeah. White kidney
Yes.
bean extract. So
Long
as
time.
far as moringa goes, I mean, moringa really kind of is the stuff as a superfood. I mean, I definitely am aware of that.
Yeah.
I've never had it.
Oh, it's
It's
fantastic. Yeah, I've tried it.
What does it taste like?
tastes like moringa.
Yeah, tastes like moringa.
Is it like strawberry, kiwi? Is it like a fruit, a vegetable? Like, what are we talking here?
It's got one of them like green veggie tastes.
It's if you're taking it as a tea, it has a smoother taste than green tea when brewed. But if you're taking it cold or anything like that, it's a earthy taste. And if you're eating like the pods or something, it has like a horseradish
Ooh,
type
I don't like
flavor,
those. I don't like that.
asparagus horseradish flavor. I guess it's
Okay.
depending.
I guess I have to try it.
With your
I've
brother.
generally put like nursing and lactating moms toward it. Honestly, like that was traditionally what I, would do when I was working the store and everything. I think it's a fantastic thing, and there's actually good clinicals on it for increasing, calcium and other minerals, and antioxidants and the mother's breast milk. So that's actually that's a big one.
You
That's
guys,
what I'm really fixing myself right now is like minerals and stuff because I had one of those water filters that was the
around it.
reverse osmosis, and I hear that takes too many minerals out of your system. So, I'm trying to fix that.
I mean, you can always mineralize your water, or you could take like minerals as supplements.
That's what I'm doing.
Um, I mean, mineralizing the water isn't like, I mean, terribly difficult to do, but as far as sourcing it goes, it's that's in a lot of ways it's almost easier just to take supplements or to use powders and just make sure you're getting your regular regimen every day because it's a hard thing
Hi.
to do when it
Hi.
comes to just mineralizing.
Welcome, welcome.
So there's a huge trend on here about the Celtic salt, the Celtic salt, and everybody's been buying it. How do you feel about that? And like, does
I
it
actually support
water?
this, and I
Does it
think that
have any
that's a
water?
fantastic, cost-effective way to get your minerals in if you're looking for it. How are you doing this evening, Alma?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Don't snort the powder though.
Fantastic,
Yeah,
fantastic.
That's funny.
there
Liking
he
Can you
this.
hear me?
I
Yeah, we
heard you
can hear
there.
you.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, Celtic salt does have quite a bit of the minerals that you're looking for. It's not going to have everything, but it's pretty good. I mean, especially as far as like a cost-effective way to get minerals in your diet, regularly salting your food with it and everything, but also too supporting your gardens with it. And that's a good way to condition your soils to add, different types of high capacity salts, high nutritional efficiency salts.
That sounds good to me. Hi, welcome in.
What do you think about Baja Gold Salt?
Explain it to me. That sounds new.
You don't know about Baja Gold Salt?
No, where's it from?
It's the same as Celtic salt. It's just said to have more minerals.
I'm gonna have to look that one up.
Yeah, I wonder where it comes from. I don't have my computer set up right now, or I would. But
I hate that TikTok doesn't let you send like picture messages or anything like that.
I feel that.
Yeah.
you could green screen
We,
something, and I
we
think we
needed that
can
long
like
time ago.
blow like your box up or something. I've seen people do it. I don't know. Anyway,
It's supposed to have more minerals. Okay.
the like there's also gray salt, like gray Celtic salt. If y'all have never heard of that, that's pretty good stuff too. It's like more
Seen that.
it's more dense. Like it's more nutritious. Put it to you that way. It's got more minerals in it.
Good to know.
I'm definitely gonna look into the Baja salt though.
Yeah, looking.
Gosh, that'll
What's
be a
up,
hard name to
Ryan?
forget.
How have you been, man?
Doing all right. I'm just listening tonight. Keep my mouth shut. That way I don't start any controversy.
Oh, whatever. Who cares? That's why they watch us anyway,
Yeah.
right?
So I
Uh,
just popped in. I'm just going to listen for a bit. If I happen to hear anything or notice anything, I'll throw something out there. I like salt. Salt's good stuff.
Heck yeah. Yeah, feel free to speak, sir, please. But yeah,
So
it's good to be here with all y'all.
From them farms understands the last few lives we've had. Um, well, we don't know exactly what it is. It might be the fact that I wear a hat and I don't look like a doctor or something. But typically speaking, when I start talking certain things, man, we always start. I always start some sort of controversy. So today I'm gonna just sit. Today I'm gonna sit and listen for a bit.
I mean, you got me curious now. I mean, like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
here,
So,
share with the room,
sometimes
please.
over.
I
so
tend to I tend to take a little bit of a different approach to natural healing than a lot of natural healers, right?
Hey,
And
in my opinion, this is my opinion.
right, well, but I wish it was just an opinion, right? But I typically base everything off of like scientific studies that I've read. If I haven't seen it in a scientific study, I don't say it because then it's at that point it's just anecdotal, right? And I can't really pass it off as anything valid because I haven't actually seen any numbers. I haven't seen the science, so I don't talk about it. And typically speaking, you get some newer people. Like there was a lady a few couple months ago who was a little offended by the fact that I was talking about arnica and the different ways you can use arnica and if you're
No way.
careful, do your own research, blah blah blah. Anyway, she she got a little salty with me about it, right?
What
And
kind of dumb? Fuck them.
well, but I think it's important to keep this stuff simple,
I
right?
tried this forever, man. That's what you gotta do. You just block the sucky people and you move
I,
on.
I think people tend to overcomplicate this, right? It's really fairly simple. Our bodies are like this machine. If you give it the right fuel, it'll run right. I mean, it's really very simple. Of course, all the crap and toxins and stuff we have, but I think people overly worry about that too, right? If you're putting so much stress into, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, I can't eat this, and you're constantly stressed about, you're adding more problems to, sometimes you just got to do it. Just do it and move on. And anyway, I'm just going to be quiet and listen to your guys' salt for a while.
Stress is bad for you. Yeah.
Right.
Starving
And
yourself to the point because you're afraid to eat anything. That's also bad for you.
and then you have the indecision, and then anyway.
People need
I tend to, like when I teach people this stuff, I tend to keep it really simple, and sometimes it's maybe a little oversimplified, maybe. Um,
it's about
but
rankings.
but I usually get somebody else who's in the same field that we do, right? They tend to get a little bit irritated with me because they don't necessarily agree with my methods. My methods are keep it simple, stupid, right? I mean, if you make it super complicated, then people become hesitant and they don't want to do it. And then they just rely on other people to do their stuff. So
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know.
this is actually why I harp on the basics. It's just like getting the basic nutritional factors necessary to run your body every day is the best first start.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you might have some type of nutrient malabsorption issue that's affecting that or something like that, or maybe, there's some way that you're sourcing it that's an issue or anything. Maybe it's not perfectly bioavailable to your body. You could be taking a better kind, what have you, and all that. A lot of that stuff can be worked out, but start small, take, the steps as you need to take them and as you can. And, don't guilt yourself and don't, be like, oh, I ain't done enough or I ain't enough or this or that or anything. No, it's like you've probably made a shit ton of progress if you really look back. And sometimes you have to tell yourself that, and sometimes you have to remind yourself that even if you haven't made progress, the fact that you're deciding to do it is progress.
Yeah.
So, take the guilt out of the situation and instill the progress. Just focus on progress. Don't focus on necessarily the outer appearance necessarily, or the when I and necessarily actually what I'm saying is like other people's views on it or opinions on it. You got to be able to like understand your truth, and that truth should guide you. It's like, dude, I even when I'm not as busy on this app, I am still on with my supplements. I still take my shit. Like, I don't miss my shit. That ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely going to make sure that I'm taking good care of myself and I'm getting the nutritional factors that I know are necessary for me. I'm going to go ahead and let other people speak, but like I couldn't harp on the basics enough. I'm sorry.
I agree with you. Keep it simple. Really, you start at this. I mean, you can get complicated later, but if you start at the bare basics, everything should move along fairly smoothly after that. And hey Angie, and this isn't rocket science, right? I mean, okay. Is there things that are kind of complicated? Yeah, but like you said, if you start with the basics,
Hey.
you can get to your rocket science later.
And I can't see the little tiny print that's at the bottom there.
Sorry, Sheila. I think Sheila got banned
Hello.
for driving or something.
Welcome
Anna.
time.
And I think that some people have the approach of like they have to do everything all right now. Like if you're gonna eat healthy, it's gonna be 100% blah blah blah, and you can't mess up. And then they beat themselves up when they can't do it. Like if you are used to eating like 7 Reese's Pieces in a week and like you cut it down to 2, I'm proud of you because that's progress. You know what I mean? Like,
Thank you.
like you said, like you make the choice and then you work towards it.
Right.
Small steps lead to
Yeah.
massive gains.
It's
Absolutely.
really hard on your body when you just quit something like sugar, like cold turkey. Like some of my clients have done that, and they call me crying, saying they want to kill themselves. Like it's really bad.
Yeah, definitely. It's an addiction. Plus, it has the caffeine and all the happy hormones
Yeah.
get set off by it. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, definitely the effect of just cutting the sugar out, that can have its own issues, but I think getting it out, especially most specifically the processed sugars, the processed dyes, the synthetic things. If you're doing synthetic sweeteners, please just find a way off those. I know you may be doing it for like medical reasons or something like that, but just please try to find a better way around those if you can.
Those are the worst, man. Oh my God, those are awful. The studies show. Oh, those things are awful.
Yeah, get off of the sweet and low and all that aspartame, bad stuff, guys.
I've done some videos on
Margarine,
those.
the ants won't even eat it. You
Well,
take
here's
the
the thing.
butter and a stick of
Here's the
margarine,
thing.
and the ants will
I'm
eat
sorry.
the butter, but not the margarine.
Right. The thing that gets me about that is they say that the FDA has said it's safe if you use these servings, right? If you use one serving. Well, if you look at a can of pop, that's like 2 servings or something, right? So if you have aspartame and the FDA allows you to have 2 servings a day, well, how many people just drink 1 can of pop a day? If they drink a lot of that crap, right? They're drinking 4 or 5 of those a day, or a 6-pack or a 12-pack or whatever. So they're getting it in 10 times the amount that the FDA technically recommends, and so yeah, you're going to have the brain tumors, the insomnia, all the other crap that happens when you when you drink that stuff.
Yeah.
And people don't take that into consideration. Well, the FDA says it's safe. Well, shit, yeah, it's safe if you take it per their guidelines. But even then, is it really all that safe? But
In
I
my
know how I'm gonna come off saying this, but people also give it to their kids.
absolutely, oh, it just
Throwing it out there.
it breaks my heart, man, when I see that stuff. That's brutal.
I actually have a funny story. Well, not really funny, but in middle school, I had to write this paper, and my aunt and uncle, I grew up with them for some years in my life. And actually, they're both diabetic, and I did a paper on aspartame. And then when I told them all the things, like cancer and stuff, that, can be caused by aspartame, they stopped drinking it. And that was in middle school. That was when, like, aspartame first came about.
Right, when they had all those sweet and low The little pink packets. Oh yeah, my dad used to drink it, but I didn't know about it then either. So I mean,
And I have another story to share. So, of course, this was when I was in junior high school, so this could have only been, like 5 years ago. But anyway, we were on our way, and I'm joking, guys, because I'm literally, this was a long time ago. Anyway, me and my family were on our way to Chicago.
She said less than 30.
Sister was probably,
Guys, I have read, let's actually check my little tracker.
oh, I'm sorry, I thought somebody was talking.
I have read a total of 15 books.
My sister wanted some, I don't know why she wanted Diet Pop. It was new on the market. She thought it was going to be cool. So she's begging my mom for some Diet Pop. And my mom's like, no, it has aspartame in it. And she says it's been known to cause cancer in laboratory animals. And my sister's like, but I got a laboratory animal. Little funny story.
Welcome, Lock and Key. He's on mute.
We can't hear you.
Can't hear me?
Hi, everybody.
There
Sorry.
you go.
We got all the kids in the background, so I was trying to be quiet. We were roasting s'mores and hanging out in the garden.
Sounds like
Nice.
a good point.
So, real quick, this might be off topic, and this is definitely not herbal related, not necessarily per se. I'm getting ready to do some stuff on the placebo effect and the nocebo effect. Is everybody like familiar with those? With those, and how they work? So there's this doctor that I've become a big fan of her. I found her on YouTube, and you should go watch this video. I don't get anything for it. It's harnessing the power of the placebo effect. Her name's Dr. Alia Crum. And I've actually saved this video, and I probably watch it, I don't know, a couple times a month, just because of everything that it says. Like, it's so powerful that when they were pharmaceutical companies have stopped using placebos in their trials, right? They have their base group that they just don't do anything for. They don't give them anything. They don't get a placebo. They don't get anything. And then they have, which would be their base or whatever. And then they have their control group. And then they have the people that they give it to. And that's how they do it now. Because when they were using the placebo effect on I find it really funny. When they were using the placebo effect, it was ruining 90% of the clinical trials of all the drugs. Because
people were using the power of their minds to heal themselves just by
right.
believing that the pill was working.
So I mean, this might be a little. Wouldn't it make more sense to try to figure out a way to use the placebo effect to do the healing? Because realistically speaking, whenever you're taking whatever it is you're taking, even if it's an herb, is it necessarily the herb that's doing? Now I understand, like when you're giving it to animals and stuff, they can't tell. You know what I mean? They don't have the logic to understand that you're giving it to them. But if we do and we think that it works, right? Wouldn't it make more sense to try to approach? It's hard to explain.
Of course.
To put more studies into that particular aspect of healing rather than just continue to pump more chemicals into us.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They make so much money pumping chemicals into everybody.
I know. I don't know. It just bends the brain how powerful it really is.
It is. It's your whole body, though. It's not just your brain. Because if you will something, and if you believe in something, and if you truly want something to happen, your body will eventually react that way.
Right.
Why were people struggling in the hospital?
Look at COVID. Why were people struggling in the hospital so much? A lot of that was because nobody could come visit. Nobody could do anything. You had to be a mask. You had to quarantine. It was a big scientific experiment on the world to see how many of us would listen and do everything that they wanted us to do. But if we really sit there and we focus on all of the healthy things, like, it would happen. Including our mental health. Like, if you want it to happen, it'll happen. You just got to believe.
I agree. I've told people, I've actually told customers not to buy my products in some cases. If you
you need it. It's great. But other times I agree. I'm like, you don't have to buy my stuff. If it works for you, great. But you do it on your own too.
There's certain people, like if they'll come into your store and you ask them, start asking them questions, right? Because you just don't want to just randomly start suggesting herbs, right? You kind of want to get a little bit of a background. And I don't suggest anything, to be fair, but you listen to their story, and if well, some people have used this herb, well, that didn't work for me. Well, some people have used this herb, that didn't work for me. And you go through a list of like 8 or 9 herbs that people have used or blends, and they're like, that didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. And then at that point, you just tell them, well, then there isn't anything in my store that's going to help you. Because I told a woman this. So I told her, I said, look, you're the one person out of the 1,000 that it doesn't work for. So I don't have anything here for you to buy. It really wouldn't help you.
Because she doesn't think that you
Because
can pull.
right, because you're not going to think it's going to work anyway, and then you're going to tell other people that it doesn't work. So word of mouth is the worst advertising for people like us. She ended up buying Hawthorne Berry, and it worked for her, but it just it's when somebody comes in and they don't think it's going to work, if your mindset is it isn't going to work, then just don't even bother.
Have y'all ever heard of the observer effect before?
Yes.
Yes. There's somebody actually being observed, and it changes the outcome. Is that what you're talking about?
The light particles.
Right.
So it was light particles being observed. And
the split.
Yes, they acted differently when observed just via camera as opposed to a person in the room.
That is so bizarre too.
They behaved differently.
It's so weird.
What were you trying to say, Grow Food?
I forgot. I said it.
Might jump in for a second. Sorry, guys. In order for me to talk, because my vocal cords are shot, I don't want to have my nose like up in the camera, so I went off camera so I can put my phone real close to my voice. I was in meetings all day today, and anyway, question for you guys, since you're herbalist on TikTok. I have a serious question. Every video that I post, you're getting a violation. Well, actually, it says post information on your video. And I click on it and it says, your video does not meet our guidelines. You can appeal this. They basically are keeping your views down. You appeal it. Doesn't matter what the video is. I could be on screen talking. It can be my own voice, whatever. And they are denying my appeals and just saying, sorry, no dice.
You know all too well. Are you pushing the Lost Book of Herbal Remedies? Are you a TikTok shop creator?
No, I don't push any TikTok shop stuff.
I'm a TikTok shop. I get hit or miss on that, Anya. Sometimes they flag my stuff and other times they don't. Yeah. And I have to be really careful on how I word things and what I say. And even sometimes what I'm wearing, because I could be in a tank top and get flagged for inappropriateness to minors. I'm like, I'm just wearing a tank top, people.
That's what I've run into with a lot of my videos here lately. I'm not a big content creator. I'm too random. But the base of everything I have is what you can eat and what you can use for basic herbal remedies. Something you're not going to go out there. I don't get into it as much as I would like. And I've been getting hit left and right with misinformation.
You know what?
I thought at first maybe it's because, my website was on there. Started taking the website down. Been doing different things, not using hashtags. Maybe it's the hashtags. Not using the word remedy. Instead using the word solutions. And every time there's not a video that's not getting hit.
Yeah, they updated the community guidelines in a way that is so harsh to us creators. It's like we're walking on eggshells now, just tiptoeing around our language. And like, I'm to the point where I'm just like, this product's really, pretty cool, and you should check it out. Like, this feels like the only thing that you're allowed to say, because everything. Like I
made a video about this lady, I did like a duet with her. Her father passed away from taking diabetic medication, and I did a duet with her, and the video got taken down within like 2 minutes. Like nobody saw it.
Yep.
Yeah, and it said I violated.
The last one I did was of Usnea, and that's something that my grandparents have used.
I love Usnea.
That's where I learned it from, for sinus infection. That's what we use it for. And I went and tried 3 times to put that video up. Even started calling it tincture juice. Yeah, anything to change it up.
Can't use any of the common words. Tincture is
Yeah,
one of them.
and so I've got to where some of my videos I'll change 1 or 2 words in the captions, and that helps. It slips by then.
I don't even put captions in the. I just don't know what to do. I'm kind of well. I don't care anymore. I guess that's it. I just don't care. I don't appeal them anymore. I post my video out there. They say if you get too many violations, your account can turn into a permanent suspension. Does anybody know how many violations you're allowed to have?
It should be showing you like your violation points. Like it should say you have so many points. There's a card for that it takes you to if you're not getting strikes, because it'll say strike added.
Okay. So far, I've just gotten that.
If the videos are just
And
going down, then you're probably not getting strikes. TikTok does that all the time. They take my videos down but don't give me strikes.
well, no, the videos are up still. It's just, I have a little over 20,000 followers, and I might get 45 views. They're
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with the fact that TikTok is leaning more toward like advertising dollars to push for views. And so it's
Right.
like
They're constantly
that.
telling me to do the TikTok shop, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, TikTok Shop does kind of like help, like in the sense that if you actually are pushing videos, or you're pushing products, you can get promotion from advertisers. It may or may not go toward your kind of people. Who even knows who it's going to go toward if they're doing it? So, I mean, it's just kind of like, and a lot of them I feel like don't know what they're doing.
And you got to
So
figure that.
it's actually kind of frustrating working with them, to be honest with you. Like that's part of why I mean, I still keep up my TikTok shop because there's products in there that my people really enjoy and that they want to continue taking, and they want to, it's like it's more of a support basis toward me, but also like it's good products, and so I want to keep them available and everything. But I got to be honest with you, I haven't overly focused on it with my account lately because it's just like it's a lot of work, and it's also too like getting flooded with vendors and not knowing who is actually like
Legit.
actually yeah who yeah it's like trying to put good products and trying to like help you grow and everything, and people who are just trying to get videos made for their products so that they can take a product of you talking about their video, or a video of you talking about their product, excuse me, and then post it to their account, and it's like, yo, like but but me like you didn't even tag me or nothing. It's like, what are you doing? What is that? It's just suspicious behavior, and I've seen too many of them would do weird shit like that. And
Right.
it's like, when I talk about a supplement, it really means something to people. Especially if
Right.
you're like, if it's a new brand that's trying to really get off the ground, I'm a great place to start with. And, people know that about me. And that's also why a lot of creators watch me when it comes to the stuff that I sell, so it's like, but I just try to put my people toward good products that make sense. And, yeah, I mean, balancing health and wallet is everything. So I think trying to keep things cost effective, go with the best buck, best bang for the buck, and just kind of hope for the best as far as like, you know, commission goes and payment. Don't really overly focus on that. Focus on quality, and that's really, that's traditionally my stand. That's how I do things. Quality over everything, because I can tell you right now, selling somebody one product once that's crappy that you get more commission for is not as good as them coming back and buying it multiple times because they know you put them onto the right shit.
Hey, I want to take
There
this
is a
time.
section in your settings that you can stop other creators or companies from using your videos. You just got to go through your settings. I've seen it there. Made sure I turned it off because it was automatically on.
Yeah. Hey, I want to take this time to thank everyone for being here. Thank my audience. Thank you guys for coming in and putting this together. There's a lot of great minds here and a lot of great herbalists and just people and knowledge. And, knowledge.
We
Him
all
too.
have the knowledge, but we also have
But
unknowledge. So
thank you for coming in, supporting, and watching your favorite herbalist or creator. You'll get to meet more of us if you're not following us or even see any of our content. This is why we do this. You come in here, share the knowledge, and we appreciate your guys' support. Without, like you said, you hear what's going on. They're blocking all of us. I've been experiencing these. Right after I'd make a video, they would automatically say, "Hey, there's something wrong with it." They don't expect. They don't even tell you. And you have to, I was going in there checking my algorithm, and it was, I had to do the appeals and stuff. I have appeals that are still they're checking into it. Someday they'll get back to me. They'll block my emails and stuff, but they'll get back to me. I trust TikTok. But I thank you all. This is the way we get this out, doing stuff like this. We've all jumped to different platforms. I'm on a beta platform right now called Bump Social, which there's no one there right now, so we can talk about and do whatever we want on there. There's no one to tell us whatever, so which is kind of cool, but we don't have a big audience yet. But it's something that they're working on.
I was gonna ask you about that because I just joined Bump last night, and there's not really a lot of people on there, are there?
It's a beta. It's under test right now. So I talked to them last night, and they're working out bugs and stuff. They just launched it for the iOS or Apple. It's brand new, and so there's a lot of stuff, but they're trying to get creators that are getting banned and stuff like that. You'll see them. I've been doing a lot of videos for them, and they've been doing a lot of videos. But my whole thing is, wherever platform we're on, we're still going to push what we do and help other people. And that's why you guys are here, because you're like-minded. You want another alternative. You're tired of feeling tired, sick. Maybe you know someone that you can help. But the panel here, everyone from growing your own food to helping people cook better with better herbs. It's whatever, and we have enough people in here, and that's why we have this debate. We can actually talk about it. Except for where Meat Science, he's not. He's just in the background. He's not very knowledgeable about anything.
Right.
It's the hat.
It's the hat, yeah. But I appreciate you all. That's all I wanted to say about that. And thank you all for being in the chat. Sorry, Angie, your voice is all messed up. You talk too much anyway. No, I love you all. I love each and one of you, and I appreciate you doing this. This is so cool that we can actually come together and actually do this. Thank you for your guests that are in here and everybody. I love you guys.
I'll make sure I told my boss that you said they need to just let me chill out, not work as much, not have these meetings and talk all freaking day.
Right.
Hey, Time. Have you ever heard of Slippery Elm before?
Oh, yeah, sweetheart. I've got a wonderful throat spray that I make that's 100% natural. What happened is I got COVID pneumonia right after Thanksgiving, and it just really attacked my lungs to the point where, it was just bad. I ended up on oxygen, all this, but with the lungs, it attacked it, a lot of coughing. The coughing put scar tissue on my vocal cords. So when I talk a lot, they rub, this is what the doctor compared it to. They get irritated and rub with that scar tissue. They're hoping eventually it'll just thin out. I use that spray. They're very well aware of it. They know that it's going to do good for it. And
crazy.
So hopefully it thins out and one day just goes away. But scar tissue just didn't go away.
So you have been having symptoms for 7 months?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, Lord.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. The doctors, they've done the sonograms, they've done the little upper GI to look at it. Everything's fine. It's just the scar tissue. I could have it lasered off, but that's not something I want to do.
Lots of honey. Honey's amazing for stuff like that. Honey.
Yeah.
So for scar tissue, they're saying that the only thing they can do for you, that's what the problem is, and that the only thing they can do for you is to laser remove it.
Yeah, it's so thick. They want to put me on a medicine to actually help thin it out and try to break it up, but I just don't want to take the medicine. I really don't.
What about putting castor oil on your throat?
I have not tried the castor. That's a good idea. I should
I
probably.
support the castor oil use. The other thing that you should look into, I don't know if you're like seeing a holistic practitioner or a naturopath or anything, but that would be a good idea too. And getting onto serapeptase, like I don't know, for anybody who is not aware of serapeptase or systemic enzymes, they're not cheap, but it's the only thing that I know of for scar tissue. Consider that a freebie. Love all y'all.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And it just really aggravates me the most after I've spoke a lot. And I was in the office today and having a lot of meetings, so hence why it's really aggravated.
Welcome back, Sea Light.
Someone also
Yeah,
suggested.
Welcome back. I'm glad to be back. I was driving, I guess, and TikTok's stupid. They don't realize I'm not driving and TikToking, but anyway, I'm glad to be back. Hey, Justin, is that Justin?
I have called to my local.
Knowledge.
Yeah, I think I followed you, didn't I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know you. You're very helpful. I've reached out to you before, like maybe a year and a half ago, and you were very, very helpful. So thank you. You're so knowledgeable. Now I'm trying to become one of you guys. I love it. It's so addicting once you start learning. Everything. All these medicines are just
Right
stuff
there.
that's growing that they package and want to sell you. But I got degenerative disc disorder in my neck. I had a bad car wreck, and yeah, they're talking like surgery, and I'm like, you're out of your mind. I know there's got to be something I can do besides the castor oil I put on my neck, and
Magnesium.
something called the comfy plant.
Comfrey root and magnesium will help a ton with that. Magnesium will help rebuild your bones and your discs and stuff.
Really? I have some magnesium.
And comfrey root is probably what you're thinking of, if I'm not mistaken.
If you're going to use comfrey, use the leaf.
Yeah.
Use it topically.
Yep,
Right.
topically is the
use
best.
comfrey internally.
Oh no.
But use the leaf. Don't use the root. The root has too many alkaloids in it, and actually, especially if you're using castor oil, it's literally taking it into your body.
Really?
Well, yeah, because castor oil so cellulose skin. It takes it's a carrier oil. So if you're using comfrey with castor oil, probably.
What's up, brother?
Yeah, the root oil just kind of just dissolves. It just like dries right into your skin. It just goes right.
Right, it goes through it, that's why, when you put it on your belly, as far as using, and people in their stomach, to get it into their organs and stuff, it goes all the way through, and it is a carrier oil, so if you've got other herbs that are mixed in with it, it's going to carry them out with it.
Am I the only one that's feeling like he's like talking down a tunnel to
I
me?
can't really hear him that clear, yeah.
My phone's so far away tonight,
That's so much better. What happened?
I decided to start talking louder.
That'll do it.
Thank you. We're loving what you're saying, dude. It's just we're trying to hear you.
Sorry. No, it was
Background noise is messing up with the live, someone said in the comments.
make sure that that you will be careful with the herbs that you're using. Most of the time, you'd rather the leaves of any herb than the root, to be fair. Because they discovered, like with golden seal, for the longest time, that the golden seal root, right? Well, when you use the root, the plant's done. It doesn't come back from that. So, but they did these studies, and they found that the leaf was more effective. And not only was it more effective, it balanced out. Okay, so there's a ton of berberine that's in the golden seal, right? I mean, it's really with it. And if you use the root, you got all the berberine, but you have all these alkaloids to go with it. So it's bad for your kidneys. It can break down it can help break down your liver if you have too much of it, right? And so they did these studies, and they found that if they used the leaves, there were other compounds in the leaves that worked synergistically with the berberine. So it wasn't an alkaloid, and so it didn't cause the damage, but it was more effective in how it approached, because they were testing it against antibiotics for bacteria, and it,
Mic covered.
the leaf
I
itself.
think there's 1 second. I think there's background noise coming through somebody. Does someone have like a TV on or a fan or something? Because I hear it too.
Well, what they discovered was that the leaf was more effective tested it against like the four leading antibiotics. Tested it against all these bacterium, and they found that
It outperformed all the antibiotics, right? It was more effective against all these bacteria, but only by using the leaf. So they also broke the herb down by compounds. So they took out just the berberine and just all these other compounds that have antiviral or antibacterial properties, and they found that that didn't work as well either. But only by using the leaf. So if you use the leaf, it's going to come back again next year, versus if you take the root, it most likely isn't.
It's funny that you mentioned this because during monkeypox, when monkeypox was breaking out, I don't know if y'all remember, a lot of people were talking about Sarracenia purpurea. And I actually did a video on, it was like there was an old school clinical study done on a pox. It was a pox outbreak that they tested Sarracenia purpurea on. And in the study where they used a root, all of the patients deceased, every single one of them. When they used the whole plant, every single one of them got better.
Right.
And so, I put a lot of emphasis on if people are, if you're out there buying Sarracenia purpurea, don't just buy a root. Get the whole plant and or leaf. And this actually goes into, a lot of different plants. Dandelion, it's like dandelion, it's the leaf that contains the quercenoids that has those, antiviral properties, those, immune boosting properties, things of that nature. And, it's like when you get into, Artemis and several other plants, like the quercenoids are found in the leaf. And so that's something that is definitely regarded as far as like herbalism goes. It's better if you're making a tincture, go ahead and just use the whole plant.
See, and that's the thing with the whole.
In most cases.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, bud. I apologize. With the whole root system, I wish they'd have discovered that, I don't know, 50 years ago. The golden seal is almost non-existent in my part of the country now because it was so sought after for root buyers. Same way with Virginia snake root. And I have my little piece of property here. I pretty well try to make it a safe haven for both of them. And I've been living here for this particular place for almost 6 years now. And I was walking through and I finally found some golden seal that is wild, but it's a place that I'm constantly in and out of. If I catch people in there digging root, I run them off. Yeah, the root buying market has really been detrimental to places like here in the Ozarks where it's poor folk trying to make money. Well, they're going out there getting all they can.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you could have harvested the leaves and say dried them and plant was coming back, that would have been nice.
Yeah, I think there needs to be more education on when you take something, put it back, or contribute in some way. Like, don't take the root out. Make sure that you're not taking all the plants, all the mushrooms, because then next year those things will grow in that same spot, and then everybody's out.
Or reseed what you take. So if we take dandelion root, reseed the seeds from the dandelion before you take the roots. I think that's the other big thing is nobody's reseeding stuff, and now we've got all the seeds manufactured in labs to make stuff, and that's a whole other problem with our food system.
Well, since we're speaking on dandelion root, I also want to bring up the fact that sometimes you do want the root, and I'm glad that you mentioned it, Lock and Key, because you reminded me. Yeah, inulin. So for people who are looking to, maintain healthy, blood sugar, inulin also is a prebiotic fiber. It's something that is, found in higher amounts in the root in dandelion actually than the leaf. The leaf contains almost none of it.
Correct.
So if you're wanting to get those benefits, you go more for the root. If you're wanting to get the, I'm not feeling good benefits, you go for the leaf.
Burdock and yellow dock also have inulin. You can substitute any of those for your carrots if you really wanted to.
I have a lady who got dandelion root for me a couple weeks ago, and she's putting it on her salad, and she says she loves it. But the other problem, at least I'm noticing out here, I don't know about you guys in other states, farmers out here are being required to sign contracts stating they won't sell the seeds that they've grown or that they get.
Yeah.
And they can't reuse their seeds, and they can only reuse the seeds from the government.
Yeah, that's been going on for a very, very long time because they have the genetic patent on those seeds. So, like, even if the neighbor across the street has a clean crop, if the Monsanto soybean goes over and pollinates the other crop, they'll take that person's crop too, or they'll sue them for
Can we just build
that
walls
cross
that are really
pollination happen.
big so we don't cross pollinate? But that's not even possible. Like, what are they doing?
Taking over the food. I'm not allowed to talk, so I won't say any more than that. But yeah,
It's because they're
it's
creating
fun.
their own DNA. It's awful.
There is a farmer. There's a movie made about it that fought against it, and he won something in court, but it still goes on.
It sucks.
What was it called? Goliath. I think it's called Goliath, guys. It might be on my website in the movie section.
So one huge thing that's been found when it comes to the food, not only like when it comes to like the seeding, like not only has the corporate farm situation ruined like our food in the sense that a lot of it's GMO these days. Yes, what we should also take into consideration is that chemically grown foods contain about a fifth of the nutrient density of organically grown foods. But even then, the organically grown foods probably aren't as nutrient dense as the food our ancestors ate. Maybe like our grandparents, great grandparents ate. We just as the generations go on, we deplete the nutrients in the soil, and then the corporate farming they completely degrade. The nicer and prettier that food looks in your grocery store, the worse the food is getting. Put it
Yep.
to you that way.
The more
Don't eat
modified.
the pretty food. Don't eat the pretty food. Eat the stuff that is not pretty.
We don't eat the plastic.
No, don't eat the plastic. Don't eat the stuff that's shiny and goes, ooh, I'm pretty.
It's so shiny. Look at all the color.
No, they're not supposed to be that color.
They dye oranges.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Or if they're green, they gas them until they turn orange.
Same with
Gas.
apples. They put something on apples so that they never go bad. And they store them.
isn't that like a
And like
wax type thing or
they
something?
put
It's like
wax
they
on them
put
and they store them in like a chamber that has like 2% oxygen. My wife used to work for Walmart, so she knows like how they used to store their produce and stuff to make it last longer. You
this
don't
makes
harvest all
this
your
makes all kinds of sense. Like
doesn't make all
legitimately.
kinds of
Oh my god.
well
So
they
okay,
you
Yep, appeal.
where's science? There was something you
appeal,
said
yeah.
earlier that like you could have some of these like plants in place of your carrots, and
Yes.
yeah, those are actually it's funny because like dandelion and burdock and and all those are carotenoid containing herbs.
Right, so they're high in the beta carotene, right, yeah, and
Yeah.
they're almost a superfood in the vitamin and mineral content and what they have. But versus the carrots, they're loaded with sugar, these are loaded with inulin, right? So they taste like carrot. I don't like the way they taste, to be fair, but you're trying to eat healthy, whatever, get over it. It's an acquired taste, you get used to it, and if you don't always think you should have. Just eat it anyway. But in China, from what I've read, in China, in some cases, they'll replace your carrots with burdock. They'll dye the burdock like orange. They'll sell them as carrots and replace them as carrots. So now I don't know about you, but burdock has a very peculiar smell, right? If you've ever dealt with burdock root, it has its own aroma, and you can tell. I can tell burdock from dandelion, dandelion from hickory. They all have their own smell. You can just tell by the smell. But and in some cases, man, that smell will translate to the taste. So because I've tried, I decided to cook some burdock one night, and if you get it planted 3 years or less, it'll cut just like a carrot too. The older the plant is, the woodier the root will get. So you get one about 2 years old, and it'll cut just like a carrot. It's great, right? And I thought, man, this is going to be amazing. This is gonna be wonderful. And I did this big old pot, and I steamed them, and I made it for the whole family, though nobody ate it. I was the only one. That's why I decided, I said, this is going to be great. And I took my first bite, and of course, dumb me, I took like 4 or 5 pieces instead of like one little piece. And it's awful. It's awful. But, I didn't want to tell everybody that. So I sat there with this bland face, and I just kept eating it. And was like, well, it's not bad. You could probably use a little salt or some butter or something. But yeah, it's not. I mean, you can cook them. It's like you did with carrots. You can eat them that way too. I wouldn't recommend it though, because they taste awful.
I take
Rhonda has a question for us. If you had to start all over and had to get seeds again, where would you get them?
From a farmer, somebody I trust. The Amish.
But
Go to the Amish.
I second that.
Amish,
Succeed.
right? And you, in fact, you can even find some Amish and they'll mail it to you. You know,
And
so you
they're
can.
allowed to sell them.
They are. Yeah, they have a lot of different. I live right in the middle of Amish country, so it's easy for me. I can drive 10 miles to a friend, and but thank you.
That's funny because
But
I got some Amish people not far from me too. So
they're
They would
great.
have to do with weeds. They would.
that's interesting to think.
Regarding the burdock root, if you guys want to get a really good some burdock root, it's hard to find if you have an Asian grocery near you. It's a staple in their diets. You
Yeah.
can get wonderful burdock root, and honestly, it's really good if you just put it in a stir fry. It's going to absorb a lot of the sauce and things like that, and it's not bad if you cook it that way.
Earlier, we have a lot of burdock grows around here. Then I'll get a hankering for some stir fry and I'll go dig some up. It's a pain to dig up,
Yeah, it is.
but it's perfect in a stir fry.
If you get the leaves when they're still small, you can cook them like you would your spinach too, and they're loaded with nutrients as well. But if you get them when they're really big, when those leaves get massive, big enough to roll a baby in, they're not they're going to be stringy and tough. But if you can get them before the flowers and the stem, the stalk starts popping up, yeah, they're not bad. I've eaten that. And it's supposed to be better for you than what the modern day spinach is anyway.
I will
So,
also say though, be careful where you guys dig stuff up because if you don't know if it's been sprayed with chemicals, don't go digging. Like if you know, like if you're in the middle of like the sticks in the middle of nowhere and you know there's probably very little human interaction, that's fine. But be careful, don't go into like the city or drive down some country road and just go dig something up because you think, oh, it's mullein because it grows like weeds out here. You never know if it's been sprayed. So just be and yeah, it could also be lamb's ear out here, but just make sure that you know where you're getting your stuff from because the last thing you want to do is dig up good stuff that you think is really great and it ends up being covered in pesticides too.
Especially on the side of the road, like the side of the highway in the city. Like, you don't want to touch anything that's right next to the roadway because all the rubber and all the stuff from the road, you don't want it on there.
Gross.
This is all
Yeah.
my neighbor's yard. That's what I always do. My neighbor is never home, so I get all kinds of stuff from his yard.
Yeah, I like that though, Lock and Key. Like foraging is done out in the woods, okay? Not in your neighborhood. It's like not on the side of the road, like totally 100%. That's actually so for me, like when I go to like forage for anything, there's this state park near where I live where I like go off the trails far away from where people go. Probably ain't nobody really been out there, in that spot maybe in years. And that's where I like to, that's the places I like to go to get stuff. And while I'm out there, like I'll snack, like, cause there's like some really nice, like luscious clover patches out there. And clover is a great snack when you're out in the woods. I can tell you right now, it's like it's got selenium
I don't
in
think
it.
I've ever eaten them.
They're great.
A little
Yeah,
mix.
it tastes like apples.
I like
I
that.
got 20 acres here, so I can forage anywhere.
I shit you not. And the snozberries taste like snozberries. Spend more time in the woods, kids. Yeah, it's
I'm
awesome.
gonna have to eat them. I'm gonna have to try it.
I love it.
Is that where like that's my cue to like these schnozberries taste like schnozz? I freaking love Super Troopers. That movie is hilarious.
I gotta get off this app.
It's a scene from a movie, guys. For those of you who haven't seen it and thought I was just super weird, that's what it is.
I've seen it. I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
You're awesome. You crack me up.
Mullein in Alaska. They have a lot of different plants there in Alaska. They have stuff similar to mullein. I believe, right? There's yeah, there's a lot of their plants are different, but do a lot of similar stuff out here. A lot of the local tribes out there, in Utes and Uglies, their tribal stuff is pretty similar to out here. Birds.
Are you in Oklahoma?
I
Fawn?
found a lot of mullein.
I'm you know that.
Huh? Are you
Yes,
in
I'm in
Oklahoma?
Oklahoma.
Okay. I'm in Oklahoma. I thought you were from Oklahoma too.
Yeah, yeah.
I need
She
something
likes
for
football.
memory. What's good for memories? Old age.
Lion's mane.
Hey, EJ, what did you say that your Indian name was that you given? Big long educator. What was that again?
Talking about time to heal.
So,
American name. What was that
are we are
again?
we are we talking nootropics right now? Is that what we're doing? Or are we talking like
Sure.
enhancers, like male enhancement? Just either way. Let me know where we're
We
going.
were talking one day and he told me his Native American name. I can't remember what it was.
I can do either or. I'm here for you. It don't matter.
But lion's mane is what I believe I almost said that is really good for.
For memory?
And
Yeah,
there's
excellent memory. It actually helps you grow new brain cells as well.
I can tell you with lion's mane personally, when the last stages of my son's cancer, I had to go get something. I didn't have any more St. John's wort. I was all out of passion flower things I would normally use. So I ended up having to go see a doctor and get on some medication because I was losing my mind. So I was losing my boy. And I knew lion's mane. I more or less ate lion's mane. And I knew all these other things from friends of mine that take it. And that's what I use to get off of the antidepressants with lion's mane.
That's what I used. I got off my anxiety medication. I started taking lion's mane. That's
Wow,
what
really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm writing this down. I learned so much from y'all. Anytime I pop in, it's like y'all are brilliant.
We all learn from each other, and I love that.
Yeah, iron sharpening iron. I'm
Yes.
following all y'all now, so
Nice.
I'm not
Yeah.
stopping. I'm just learning.
Someone said rosemary too for memory, and I agree with that. Rosemary is amazing for memory and hair growth, guys. Hair growth. This is
I actually I take Sesbania leaves, which is great for so many things, including hair, skin, and nails. It has biotin. It's very nutritious, but it also helps with brain sharpness. But I use that with lion's mane, and I really love it.
And what's it called?
Could you type that in the chat?
Sure.
Type
That'd
that
be
in the
great.
chat. What about
Um,
ginkgo biloba?
I like ginkgo biloba. I've sold ginkgo biloba. I sell lion's mane currently. Natural polysaccharides from lion's mane help when it comes to reconditioning brain tissue. It's fantastic stuff. Works well. You got a lot of good improvements of memory and everything. But actually, my favorite nootropic, like something I do not go without, is bacopa or bacopic extract. Bacopa is my favorite nootropic. It's like the top, the best, like hands down, in my humble opinion. Like I said, the lion's mane really is the favorite for the market. It really seems like most people have tried it, and most people are getting into it these days. I think it's like everybody wants to get into mushies, right? Anyway, for different reasons, but like it's, and I actually personally use both, by the way. So full disclosure, I use lion's mane and Bacopa. I have been using Bacopa for actual years though, and I don't let myself go without it. I don't want to say it's like my secret weapon or anything, but gosh, man, I'm just like I really feel like that stuff has helped with my life. It's got good clinical studies for helping as far as like ADD, ADHD symptoms, helping to improve the memory of high functioning individuals, improving test scores of med school students. I mean, there's all kinds of good stuff. For a lot of people who don't know, Bacopa was originally used by Hindu priests to improve their memory when memorizing the Vedic texts because they're extremely long. And if you never
Is
read
it
them.
safe for children?
Yes, you just want to do things right as far as the serving sizes because children are smaller, and then make sure you're taking it with food. It works really well.
I can tell you
And
lion's
yes, there's actually good clinicals for kids too. Go ahead, Forge. I'm sorry for interrupting you. I keep doing that.
No. I interrupted you, brother. Go ahead and finish off. But lion's mane is one of those things we've ate them for years. We find them growing in the fall mainly, and they're delicious. And it's funny to me, and they're that everybody's finally getting into it. Used to, you cook up some lion's mane, and people look at that and go, "I'm not eating that." And now everybody's coming up saying, "Man, have you heard about lion's mane?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been. I came back over last fall and I tried to get you to eat some of this lobster in the woods, and you wouldn't do it." And it's just funny how society's starting to go back to okay, this
The roots.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the
Beautiful
roots.
thing.
Lion's
Yeah.
meat is something that I can't really take. Every time I've eaten it, I've had some kind of reaction to it. So I wish I could though, because I've like heavily studied it before I tried to have it. But
Not everything is for everyone, so that's why there's good alternatives. And, by the way, I do like ginkgo biloba, as a nootropic as well. I mean, there's other things that increase circulation in the brain and improve memory and things like that. Um, what is the other? Gotu Cola. Gotu Cola is another option, so you can always look into that one. So yeah, I mean, there's a few different nootropics on the market that do pretty well. There's also other things that help when it comes to increasing circulation in the brain, if that's what your issue is. Quercetinoids do that, and they also improve immune system health. And so I think the other thing to take into consideration too is good hydration, because a lot of your cranial, kind of makeup is actually water. And your brain needs to be well hydrated. You need good minerals. Those are, it's like magnesium is imperative when it comes to neurological signaling and, protecting neurological tissue, most specifically in the presence of oxidizers. A lot of us are, going out swimming and, hanging out in chlorinated pools during the summer. So you're going to want to get your magnesium in, because, you really, especially for like competition swimmers and people who are going to be in the pools a lot and everything, or maybe you work in that industry, make sure you're taking your magnesium, because you are prone to deficiency.
I am chronically dehydrated. I like forget to drink. When you said that, I was like, when was the last time I had water? I did have kombucha.
Yeah, and also as far as like improving circulation to the brain, okay, when you're dehydrated, your blood is thicker. You got to think about all these microvessels that, the blood is trying to get through. Okay, when it comes to your brain and everything. So definitely, when that's also why headaches happen. Well, that's why some headaches happen, So it's like because of not good circulation in the brain. So definitely staying well hydrated is better overall for brain health. You're getting more nutrients to the tissues. It's better for brain health. Drink water, get your minerals, keep that, blood to where it can circulate and it can get to all the places that it really needs to.
And stay away from processed sugar that causes, or is one of the causes of Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
I have hypoglycemia, so I have to have sugar, but I'm trying to do it through fruit and
Monk fruit sweetener.
like juice, but natural juices.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually want to speak on this. So, like, Heather said, or who was it that said that? Mostly anime. Hydration is more than just water. So, like, take into consideration that, they market Gatorade as containing electrolytes, right? Which it really isn't even high in electrolytes. Oh, all right. Excuse me, y'all. All right, my bad on that. Okay, but anyway, it's not really high. Gatorade isn't really like high in electrolytes. It contains some salt, but there's a lot more artificial stuff than electrolytes. Electrolytes, is kind of the marketing term for minerals. Minerals are electrolytes. Electrolytes are minerals. Get your minerals in, you're getting your electrolytes in. Get your potassium in, your magnesium in. There's a little bit of iodine, a little bit of selenium. There's a little bit of these other things that you got to make sure you're getting into your diet as well. And that's what's going to overall, improve your bodily processes, activate enzymes, for digestion, for liver functioning, for so many different things. There's, it's like, for instance, magnesium is an activator for over 600 processes in the body. So think of all those processes being interrupted because of your deficiencies, whether it be that mineral or the next one.
Yeah, magnesium helped me a lot, especially with insomnia and like anxiety, things like that. Magnesium's been great, and it helps me dream better. So I like that too.
L-theanine is really good too for like anxiety. Magnesium and L-theanine. I switch between, so for my anxiety, I do lion's mane, and then I'll go to L-theanine and magnesium glycinate.
If
And
you like theanine, have you tried liposomal tryptophan before?
No.
You'd probably, if you like theanine, you'll probably really like tryptophan. I had people kind of vary between the two.
Yeah, so I go between those two, and then also herbs like passion flower, lemon balm, skullcap, things like that. So
Yeah. Moringa.
Lemon balm smells amazing.
moringa, yeah, I take moringa every single morning.
You do? Some
Yeah,
shots.
I do every morning. Yeah,
I'll tell you what, I ought to be
where I
taking
get my
that.
minerals from.
Mississippi.
I mainly use what we have in our own area and what I've learned growing up, and then talking to old timers. And I hear people talking about all this, the herbalism side of things that I haven't really done much studying on from what was passed down to me and what I picked up from other folks. So, thank y'all.
I love that. I love that because you're like a real backwoods person that could teach us some shit.
Oh, I don't know. Y'all seem to have it pretty well under wraps.
I don't know. I love that hand-me-down.
Learning over here.
Do enjoy the
I'm always
content.
learning.
Well, that's like rabbit tobacco. Something I grew up. My grandpa, if we had a cold, rabbit tobacco was the go-to. And I got to kind of study on it. I really can't find anything on it. I mean, I use it, and I make a blend with mullein.
Rabbit tobacco. I don't think I've ever heard of this.
I know exactly what he's talking about,
Yeah.
and I don't know that it's like harmful or anything. So I mean, I would have to, I'd have to do more research because I've never heard of it hurting anybody, and I've been around it plenty. So that's interesting, sir.
It's great for getting into your lungs via
He
pipe.
has a video.
Yeah, so
Make us a video about it.
I've got a few
I
of
think he
them.
does.
It's something you don't really see much of, never. But it's something I've just been taught, and I haven't really researched as to is it a placebo effect or is it actually doing what it's supposed to? And since I blend it with mullein, it's really, I mean, I'm using them for the same thing.
Try it standstill.
I like the smell of it mainly. Boy, you talk about drying that stuff out. Oh, it smells so good. So good. It don't taste good, but it smells good.
That's the best thing is sniffing everything. I think we're just like this like secret society of plant sniffers, to be honest with you. That's the whole reason why we're here. There are people who appreciate those smells and there are people who don't, you know?
I am happy to stop and enjoy the smells. I will, you know what? I will be a part of this cult happily.
We're starting the cult.
I'm in.
We need a chunk of land now.
Oh my gosh.
So there was someone who had a question about oregano in the chat. They said they had a lot of oregano, and there was a discussion between oregano tincture versus an oregano oil. Now, I am great with oregano oil. It's great to cook with. This is my own personal opinion. It's the way that I was taught in school. So when you're thinking of about plants and the phytochemicals of the plants, you have your menstruums, your solutions, your solvents that are going to be able to pull out those constituents that are water-based and non-water-based. Non-water-based is going to come out with your alcohol, your food grade glycerin, which is not going to, your strongest is going to be your alcohol. Let's just go there. Now then, if you just throw those plants in oil, what is oil really going to pull out? It's not water. It's not an alcohol. It's not a glyceride. It's not apple cider vinegar. So you're going to be very limited on what you're pulling out. If you want to turn it into oil, you can go ahead and soak those in alcohol, pull out those necessary constituents, and then water bath it with an oil and get vapor off that alcohol, and you're going to be left with all those wonderful constituents in the oil. But quick answer to your question, I prefer like a 100 proof alcohol. You're getting 50% ethanol, 50% water. You're grabbing all the phytochemicals out of that herb. Now, I know a lot of herbalists on here may not agree with me, but that is just my opinion.
I agree with you. I feel like it makes sense.
There's some things that you got to use alcohol for, but vegetable glycerin is good for a lot of things as well. And some people do prefer the vegetable glycerin as far as like the taste and the flavor, and they want to try to avoid alcohol and everything. But I will tell y'all, like I side with time that alcohol is necessary for some tinctures.
Milk system.
Tips on getting rid of candida.
Well, I mean,
Yep.
that would be another one. Oregano oil. I mean, carvacrols.
And if you don't have oregano oil, guys, there are clinical studies on it. Go get you some coconut oil. Start adding coconut oil to your coffee. Cook with it. Coconut oil actually can fight candida. And if you want to do a home test, I'm getting ready to do a video on this. If you want to do a home test, get yourself a warm glass of water, set it beside your nightstand. When you wake up in the morning, spit. Just throw a loogie right in that glass of water. If it floats, you're fine. If it starts to drop down, any part of that starts to immerse and go further down in that glass of water, you may have candida.
What? I'm doing this. At first I was like, what? We spit in a cup, but now I want to do it.
I just keep learning something.
Yeah. I mean, but it has to be first thing in the morning.
I love this group. That's great.
Candida.
Well, I have overuse of antibiotics, and when they did my hysterectomy, they said they were scooping an unknown white substance from my stomach cavity, and I'm guaranteeing you that's candida.
What happened with lock and key? I didn't see what happened.
Yeah, so I'll repeat it again. When you go to bed, put a glass of water on your nightstand. When you wake up in the morning, first thing you do before you brush your teeth, before you even get out of that bed, spit in that water. If the spit floats, you're good. If it happens to start to go deeper, immerse further into the glass of water, odds are you do have candida. This isn't a foolproof test, but it kind of gives you an idea.
Yeah, there's
Explain what candida is for the people that are asking.
Overgrowth of yeast in your body, and having antibiotics, overuse of antibiotics can definitely kill a lot of the things in your body that are keeping them intact. And then once they're dead, you get an overgrowth of candida. You can starve it, but it loves sugar. It loves sugar. So
can I add to it?
We can.
Yes, go ahead.
People do candida cleanses. I'm a functional
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Can y'all hear me now?
I'm a functional nutritionist, and I help people do candida cleanses.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I just wanted to add my 2 cents. So when like somebody has thrush, which is basically like a candida infection,
yeah.
Or I remember like when I was younger, I had like these white spots. The doctor called them sunspots, and they basically like they would like dry up and then like kind of peel off or whatever. So I was like, what the hell? And then they put me under a black light, and they lit up. And they bust out laughing, my doctor, Dr. Schmidt. I was like 18, 19. I was so upset because I thought they was busting on me. But I remember all the way to this day. So, like, I'll use colloidal silver on your tongue, the spray. I even tried it on my fish tank because I, like, saw so many, like, different studies on it. So I got, like, turtles. I would, like, drop some in the fish tank. It would stop the algae from growing. They would be able to, like, survive in there for a little bit of time. So I even did a test with a spoon, like silver. I put silver. When I first started TikTok, I put a silver spoon inside some yogurt, and I just kept it in my refrigerator. And I kept coming back, and it never separated. So that was one of the ways that I had went viral, like when I first got on TikTok. And I just had a spoon, and I would just pick it up and be like, y'all remember this? And I would show everybody, like, it's never moved. And then I just put it back in the refrigerator, and then I come back 4 days later and be like, see, it's the same. So I feel like my best trick is colloidal silver when it comes to yeast or candida, however you say it. And also you could do it like as a dish, right? As a lady, you can do it as a dish, and then you can eat like a scoop of honey because the honey gonna balance your good bacteria and bad bacteria back out in your urethra and all in your number one. But that's my 2 cents.
Thanks for saying
Appreciate it.
that. I'm gonna look into that. Everybody keeps saying silver, and I haven't used it for anything yet, so that's very interesting.
Hey,
Hi.
Stacy. Welcome.
Hello.
I love the scientific minds, though. Like, I experimented with this and I experimented with that. Like, that's how I am. Let me just figure it out.
Made her own. Yep. Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Stacy. We appreciate you.
Well, you're welcome. Sorry I'm late.
That's okay.
Kind of gets crazy in the evenings here.
Understandable.
Good to see you, Stacy.
Good to see you guys too. Hello, everybody. Thank you for the warm welcome. I love it.
Stacey, I was watching some of your videos, and I think, what did you just find that you weren't expecting to find? Like, was it mullein?
It was mullein. We actually normally have an abundance of mullein, but for some reason this year they seem to have disappeared. I don't know if it's because of the weather. We've had a lot of wacky weather, or if people are just pulling them because they're not native. But yeah, I was actually, and it's actually super close to my house. So it was crazy that I found it really close to my house. And on the live today, we actually made a tincture with the mullein on my live today. So it was fun.
Thank you, Cheyenne. In the comments.
Ooh, those look like
That's
pretty.
legit.
Ooh, Stacy, can you show that again?
Yeah, that's legit.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that'll gonna turn such a beautiful green. You watch.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
I love what you do.
really enjoy it on the live today. They're like, oh my gosh, you just picked mullein and made a tincture out of it. And it's like, yeah. So Monica was there and Cassie was there. And so we had fun.
How would I use it in tincture form? Because I get mullein, I dry it, and I smoke it. And it's like an inhaler. It gets all, whatever phlegm is in my chest, whatever, it's gone. And I feel like I can breathe, like my airways open up. So what do you do with the tincture?
I actually combine, I have a tincture that I combine it with yerba santa. Yerba santa is a native plant in California. And you can use it for like colds, allergies. I mainly use it in the summer because unfortunately where I live where there's a lot of wildfires. And I love to use the tincture to get all of that smoke and pollution out of my lungs from all of that. So, but I do love mullein in a tea too. A tea is fantastic. And so I'm drying some mullein for tea.
I like eating yerba santa in soup.
Oh, do you? I've never tried that
Chicken
before.
soup. Yeah, my mother-in-law has a yerba santa plant, and she'll just put it in the tamales, or she'll put it in the soup, and it gives it a really nice flavor.
Oh, nice. I just tried it in a tea for the first time a couple weeks ago because I usually only use it in a tincture.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good in a tea.
I'll tell you, Grow Food, when I had that COVID pneumonia last year, I made myself a tincture. I used the mullein.
Yeah.
But I also added osha root, long pepper, papilia, I believe is what it's called, long pepper, mullein, and grandelia. And I'll tell you what, you can feel literally your lungs. When you take that, just within moments, your lungs are just opening up. It's the osha root with that long pepper and the mullein really helps.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, I mean, the first time I smoked mullein, like, I was scared out of my mind. I'm like, what if I have an allergic reaction? Like, I'm allergic to so many things. And then I watched this dude on YouTube he was so adamant about it. He was like, I had all this, like, crap come out of my lungs, and now I can breathe, and da-da-da-da-da. So I went for it, and that's the experience I had was, like, it was like an asthma inhaler. It was like, whoa, like, I can breathe into all of my lungs. And then your brain starts to work, so that's always a good thing. Brain cells.
Right.
Well, I mean, better oxygen circulation, in theory, leads to better organ system functioning and processes, right? So, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
right on.
Water and oxygen, guys. It's like that simple. Water and oxygen. It helps everything.
Heck yeah. Well, hey, y'all. I got to drop out. I got work in the morning. Hey, thank you so much for having me from them. And hey, much love to all y'all. Thank you for, for all the good conversation, and definitely learned a lot here. So,
I like this group. This is nice.
It's good seeing you.
Yeah,
yeah,
Thank
love
you,
all y'all. Hey,
Justin. Appreciate it,
and
brother.
thanks to my people for being here too. Go
Yes,
on,
thank
sorry.
you a lot. If you guys aren't following Justin or Knowledge Crew, guys, go follow everyone here. And like I said, this is really something that's really cool because we're all have different knowledge and different backgrounds in what we do, but we all come together to answer questions like this and talk and learn. Man, we're always learning, and
Yeah.
it's great. It is so great. This is such a great community of people that are following each other, and it just builds our communities stronger because a lot of hey, I didn't know, grow food. I didn't know of Alma. We don't care about the guy in the hat, but everyone else, he, uh, but he has great. I mean, a lot of people come to uh, Science Meets Nature is because he's been
Nice.
doing this for like a long time as well. Even though, like, Time to Heal has a lot of people have different parts, and like I say it a different way. People communicate or understand them in a certain way. I could ramble on and say everything that everyone else says, and no one wants to hear me speak because that guy, but
There's
it's
someone for
bringing
everyone. Not,
right. It's
I'm like crazily irritating to some people, and other people love me. It's just the way it is for everyone. Like we all have our tribe, we all have our people.
those people. You're irritating. No, I'm just kidding.
I talk too fast, and like some people
That
really
is
like the
the
people that
truth.
talk really
Like,
slow.
you're not gonna be everybody's cup of tea. That's the funny
Absolutely.
thing about herbalism. Like, you're not everybody's cup of tea. So my whole thing is like, y'all see how when y'all talking about mullein, I don't have nothing to say. I got mullein in my repertoire of teas. I just don't touch it. Like, it's too light. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at it, I'm like, this is not something that I want to present. But it's so many people doing it. I just don't want to cross over into that lane. Now, if you talk about black seed, I'll talk all day, all night. If you talk
I
about
love
like
that.
hibiscus, I'm going to talk about that all day, all night. Chamomile, all day till I go to sleep. Like,
I got
so
some.
all those different things, I'll talk about those things. But if y'all sit up here and be like, yeah, so let's talk about the corn husk, I'm gonna be like, hold up, boop, and I'm gonna sit there and listen because it's not my lane. Like,
Yeah.
so that's why I like this because the stuff that I talk about and bring to TikTok, and then I find people who can use other uses for it. It's like, oh yeah, this is cool. And then like things that I would have never even tried, like, oh, y'all making tinctures. If I was to use a tincture, I would be like using it on my face. You know, like if I was doing something with an alcohol base, I would be trying to use it as a astringent. So the way y'all talk about it, like, oh, I'm dropping it under my tongue, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And then I seen somebody, they had like a herbal degree. He was like, but he had a mixologist degree. So I'm like, so is it like making alcohol, like, or making drinks too? Like, could that be considered? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of the stuff
It's
that you
not to get drunk. It's like usually to use a couple of drops full because it's so concentrated. Like
It
you
depends.
definitely don't want to go swigging from the cup. But yeah,
It,
there's so many different ways
it
to use
depends on how it's made first, right?
I
So
have some questions in the audience though. The audience was asking her about can you explain more about black seed oil?
Not oil,
Or
seed.
So
black
I mean, I
seed.
can explain the oil. Like, some people use the oil in their hair. Some people use the oil. I would use it like broken down, like in a smoothie, because it is so concentrated and it's so thick in the taste of it. So I would put it in like a smoothie. The way when I first started using black seed oil, I was sneaking it on my kids. I was putting it in pancake mix, little stuff like that, you know? So, or, but because it doesn't have a good flavor, but the actual seeds, they are versatile. Like, you could use them anyway. Like, somebody asked about blood pressure. If you put it in a tea, it will make it so much better and more tolerable. And then you're releasing it so your bloodstream is able to pick it up. Like, I heard somebody say something about oxygen and water. But you know, water is H2O, so it has oxygen. And then when the plants start releasing their nutrients into the water, then it gives it more. H's, O's, carbon, whatever is in the plant that is on the periodic table, now that's in the water and it's broken down for your blood to be able to pick up. So this is what will stop and reduce high blood pressure. Because when somebody got high blood pressure, their blood isn't circulating. It's supposed to circulate through your whole body. Then it's also supposed to repair, and it's also supposed to provide oxygen and nutrients. But how does your blood pick up the oxygen? And it's not just from breathing, it's from the plants that you drink. So it's like somebody said their name was Science Meets Nature. Yes, it's science and nature, right? So the plant, just the same way the plants go through photosynthesis, we go through photosynthesis. Like we need to be outside, we need to get air, we need to be grounded, like whatever they say. But also we need the plants because the plants are at our service. So anytime you get sick, the plants then replace the nutrients or oxygen or energy that basically the energy that you don't have. So you running like a car and you're running out of gas, but you have to replace the gas. And a lot of people don't think about it like that. So that's how I think about it. That's how we break it down to people.
I do, and I love that. What I say is life in and life out. So, like, if I eat something that's living, I'm going to give that energy of life. But if I eat something from a box that's dead, I'm just dumbing my body down. You know what I mean? Like, there's no energy flow through that. You got to eat that fresh food to have that energy flowing. And sometimes I forget that, you know, like sometimes you go weeks and you're eating garbage because you're around your family and like takeout and everything else. And then when you start eating the living food again, you're just like, whoa, energy again, you know, it feels so good. Yeah.
So I have one more question for you, Pirate Meds, about the black seeds. So I have whole black seeds. So are they gonna be as potent as taking the black seed oil, or how does all that work? I have the seeds and the oil. I take the oil. I haven't done anything with the seeds.
So I feel like yes, because the whole seed is better than the oil, right? Like the oil is you taking part of the seed, but the seed is the whole seed. But this is why I say you have to put it to the water. You put it to hot water, now you're releasing the nutrients. Now your blood is able to absorb because your small intestines, on the outside of your small intestines, you got blood vessels that attach to your small intestines. And that's where your blood absorbs the nutrients. So most people who like, oh, I got colon cancer. Everybody got colon cancer because everything that they dumping in their system, it's a Red Bull. It's Kool-Aid. It's something with fake electrolytes, dextrose, fructose, saccharin. I was just reading Equal the other day. I was like, what in the hell is this stuff? You can't even pronounce any of it. So the cellulose, that is basically somebody broke down like the energy out of corn and now they selling it as sugar. So everything basically goes back to, is it turning into alcohol in your system, right? Because when they say alcohol turn into sugar in your body, right?
Yep.
It's the same thing. Yep. So when somebody say you should use agave. If you're using agave is tequila, ain't it? Like the alcohol, one of them alcohols, it's the alcohol. So that's gonna break down to sugar in your system. But it's kind of like it's glucose, but is it the right kind of glucose? But the plants also break down into glucose in your system so that your car can run. So people who like, oh, I'm a diabetic, the sugar that's going into their system, the body doesn't want to use that. It needs something different. So when you break down the plants, the tea provides that natural glucose because plants, when they go through photosynthesis, make their self glucose. Y'all seen that on the little photosynthesis chart when y'all was in science class. So this is how I break it down. Everybody's just running their car and they haven't changed their oil. That's it. So you could use the whole seed, you could sprinkle it, you could use it in the seasoning, you could put it on a salad. But the thing about it is your blood going to be able to absorb it? Because if you put the whole seed in your system, then it's not broken down. You got to depend on your body to break that down. Even with a salad.
So it depends on how your digestive system is working.
everybody's digestive system kind of works the same way, right? This is why I'm saying if you put it in the water, you break it down, the water is going to carry it to your blood. Even if you eat a solid, you know, some of the solid come out in the stool, right? That's because your stomach, you're dependent on your stomach to break down all this stuff. But
Exactly.
you should properly break it down. This is why we got back teeth. Because the back teeth is supposed to grind the food and release the nutrients. And then what does your body pick up? Whatever is ground out of the meat or whatever. That's how it gets the nutrients.
I have
So,
a question.
I'm
What
sorry.
does what does the black seed oil look like? Is it like a hard seed? Like I know a lot of the hard seeds they pass through your system pretty easily. Is it something that can be grinded up really good?
You could grind it into a powder.
Okay.
And then I would say if you ground it into a powder, that will probably be easier absorbed than just eating the seeds.
Yeah.
But still, I feel like you can try it as a tea. You could try it as a seasoning. Like, for example, salt. Do you know how they say you got high cholesterol or you got too much salt in your system? Because salt is a micronutrient. So what is it? Your blood is able to pick that salt up, right? Your blood is able to pick up the spices that you eat. That's why they like, if you put too much seasoning salt on your food or you put too much whatever, your blood is picking that up. And then you're not, it can be an overload to the system, if that makes sense. So if you trying to season your food and your palate is like eat more, but you're salting it instead of using the herbs as seasoning, if that makes sense. That's why certain cuisines are better than other ones, because certain people are using seasonings, like they're using a pepper, like those burrito tacos. Everybody, or I don't know how you say it, don't get me, but you know how everybody's head is pepper, is
Maria.
onions, is, you see what I'm saying? It's the chilies, but your body is craving all those nutrients anyway. So that's why that meal is a hit, because it's so packed with nutrients. It's tomatoes, it's all the stuff that your blood really needs, right? Paired with that meat, which is the fat that you kind of need, because a lot of people that go on all fruit, all water, they start losing their body fat. And if you talk to, I remember watching this guy named Tony Little a long, long time ago. He got into an accident, but he was a bodybuilder. And
I
as soon
remember
as he
him.
couldn't exercise, everything turned to fat. Everything on his body, all of his muscle mass just turned to straight fat. He couldn't do anything with it. But he said that his body needed to eat that while he was paralyzed. So if you don't have fat, if you suffer injury, that's a problem, which is what happened to Dr. Sebi and people like, you know what I'm saying? But this not my life, so I don't want to take it over, but I'll ask questions. But I feel like you can use the oil. It just doesn't taste good to me. I feel like you would use it on your skin. I can use it in like my
Yeah.
body butters and stuff like that.
Caplets of black seed oil, and I have noticed a change in just my overall health over the past like month or
When
so.
I started taking black seed oil, I had no more bloating after like the first week. Yeah, so
It is absolutely a blood food. It's absolutely a blood food. And I know, because I was going to the doctor and I had a diagnosis, but when I came to TikTok, I didn't say my diagnosis first, because I don't want no pity or no sympathy. I just want to be able to convey the message. And if you believe it, you believe it. And if you don't, you don't. And then so many people just happen to believe, like, you know what, I'm going to try this. And then people start trying it and they start getting good reports. So I say, like, if you are a herbalist, it's something that you should do, like looking at blood tests, figuring out how to explain that to the people that you're counseling, because they need to know that. Like, they need to know what to ask their doctor. And I feel like that's the plus when it comes to me. Like, I don't want to be stuck in one little mold, because people need those types of coaching too. Like, sometimes, like, somebody just called me the other day and just was talking, and I just was like, all right, well, I just talk with them, because it's so much anxiety that comes with the diagnoses that people get.
Oh yeah. People don't want to talk about it, and then the fear is like you do talk about it, and then everybody thinks that you're faking it, or they talk shit behind your back. Like it's just what happens to chronically sick people. Like I have multiple things that are wrong with me, and people just don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? So I like getting into this conversation, not so that we can say like, oh, what's wrong with us, but so that I could actively listen to how people are healing themselves and hopefully heal myself and the people around me in the process. I have 5% on my battery, so I want to say goodbye to everybody. I love this conversation. I love this panel tonight. That was fantastic. And
Thank
we
you.
definitely have to do this again then.
Thank you, Danny. Love you and appreciate you.
It's an
Thank you for
amazing
everything.
roundtable. I love it.
Oh, also, somebody said about gummies in the comments. Gummies are something I don't suggest because it's very hard for them to actually measure how much is going to be in that gummy. So you can overload on vitamins, or you could be paying for something that doesn't have as much as it's saying it has in it. So I would stay away from gummies altogether. Bye. I love you guys.
And then
Hey, buddy,
secondly, especially if it's got like honey or
about
something, you
RNA and
can't really heat honey.
arthritis.
It's just
Yeah,
not good.
yeah, I agree. I
So,
don't recommend gummies to anyone.
someone had a question about arthritis and arthritis pain, horrible pain in
Arthritis?
their hands and stuff like that. Yeah, so there's several stuff. I mean, it depends on what you're talking about. Pain, Stacy and Time to Heal. They both have stuff for pain, um, tinctures, other stuff.
Arthritis? Sorry,
As
I
kids,
don't mean to interrupt, but arthritis, you need to reduce the inflammation in your body.
yeah.
It
Stacy
can
or
also,
Time to Heal. Time in.
oh, sorry. Normally, arthritis can also mean that there's not enough circulation in the blood. So, like, there's not enough blood. And I do agree with the inflammation there. So, we need to reduce the inflammation, but get the blood flowing. So, herbs that are very warming and very pungent are going to be very helpful, like ginger, turmeric, which ginger and turmeric are also going to be herbs that are going to lower inflammation, but also get that going. I also like to suggest, like, cayenne. You can make your own or go to a health food store and they have cayenne salves and you can put it on your hands and it'll kind of warm up your hands to get that blood flowing. So yeah, so that's what I would suggest in general.
I do have a really good tincture. It's called Wet Pain, and it has a plethora of herbs in there. And of course turmeric is one, but and then of course with turmeric you need to make sure you have a carrier with that because the makeup, the molecules of the turmeric have a hard time absorbing into the body, so you need a carrier with that. Usually you can use pepperine, capsaicin, things like that are good for that. But in the tincture, I have, so for example, devil's claw. It's wonderful for lower back, hip, and knee pain. And this tincture has multiple different herbs that focus on various areas of the body: nerve pain, musculoskeletal areas, muscle pain, things like that. And it also has cayenne in there to help open up the blood vessels, arteries, to get the oxygen moving. And also with this tincture, you can add it to castor oil and apply it topically. So not only internally, but you can use it topically for pain also.
Can I throw something in here?
So beautiful. I'm gonna have to get that tincture for one of my clients. Time to Heal.
I wanted to double down on what Stacy said about the ginger and the turmeric. You know how they look like knobs? Like every little section of it looks like a knob. So I don't know. I think Tom the Hill has said what it's called, but that looks like your bones. So that's one of the reasons why. But also, sugarcane, right, looks like bones as well. And if you ever look at molasses, the container on molasses, they talk big shit. Like they talk big shit. We're better than honey because boop bop 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 bow. And when I looked it up, the selenium that is inside of molasses is good for your bones. And selenium is like Brazilian nuts and things of that nature that help with your bones, beta carotene with your eyes. So that's like, drinking a carrot juice or something like that. But when you do make your ginger, like you can make it in a tea, you can just grind it up and just boil it. And if you make it like a big piece, it's gonna be snappy. But if you make a nice piece, just like she said, it'll be nice and warm, and it'll help you reduce the inflammation. Because what is inflammation? It's a bunch of white blood cells. So the white blood cells are trying to repair your knuckles, and then they pile up around your knuckles. Or if, like, let's say you trip and you mess up your ankle, the white blood cells pile up around that area. But this is the other key, because it's a balance. If your red blood cells aren't strong enough, they don't have any food, they don't do the repairing. Because the white blood cells come and they fight, but they don't repair. Your red blood cells have to be strong enough to repair. And this is why it has to be a balance. Like, I feel like even as herbalists, we have to get on the same page when it comes to that. Like, don't let them come and be like, oh, it's insulin resistance. Insulin is still dealing with the blood. Glucose is still dealing with the blood. The oxygen is still dealing with the blood. It's all your hemoglobin when you look on the test, and then you'll see your lymphocytes will be spiked if your body is trying to heal from like a trauma. So all those years of typing, all this you've been doing, that's what's causing the inflammation, or whatever the case may be. You never know what the job was, but that's what's causing us the inflammation, and we never put nothing in our bodies thinking, oh, we're going to use this to heal, or I'm going to use this to put back in my car. So the selenium that's coming out of the molasses, and I was using molasses in my tea, and my blood tests were so good. They were so good. Like, so I'm just saying that was my experience, but the
I have
molasses.
another question here. Someone was asking, they had two surgeries to have my intestines removed. Intestinals? They any ideas for extra nutrition? Um, I can't nutrition. So moringa is the number one most nutrient dense. And you're gonna hear me say this stuff all night, but it's called America tree for a reason. It's high in magnesium and iron. It's good for a bunch of stuff. And it's good. You can add these to other stuff, and I'll let Alma talk and you guys too, because she deals with gut health and stuff. So, but and she'll tell you why it's important for your gut. So, but you can add this stuff, and a lot of people just know as the powder or pills or capsule or tinctures. There's several different ways you can add this stuff. Sprinkle it on your food, whatever you're taking anyway. You can make tea. You can cook it in a.
Didn't she say that she had her intestines removed? So I'm not sure how she would be able to consume that. I don't know. I don't know more. Didn't she say she had her intestines removed?
Yeah, I seen that she said that she had her intestines removed. Yeah.
So yeah, that would be. You would need to find what form, like EJ was saying, what form you can take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And your intestines are where you do get, they're absorbed from, so
Yeah.
you are really limited on the absorption other than, I don't know how a moringa oil mixed with a castor going into the blood, I don't think you're going to pick up any type of nutrients topically, though. I don't think that wouldn't be it, because it's still the intestines.
go to
It
your
would
blood set. You
definitely
can
be
use
something you drop
sublingual
under your tongue, like something
right?
that's really potent that you could drop under your tongue that could be absorbed like right there. So maybe they could come up with a tincture that's like super potent.
We have either one, the oil or the tincture. So and it mixed. What I don't know, which is saying Alma or whoever. And
Yeah, I mean, as long as nothing's being swallowed, because it could go into the bloodstream. Again, it's not being absorbed. I mean, it's kind of like a diet thing, something that's going to make you feel full. Having a diet tincture really isn't solving the issue.
because it's not going through the digestive process and those minerals aren't being absorbed through the stomach, the small intestine, etc., large intestine. So trying to absorb nutrients and not having the intestines, you're really limited on the nutrient absorption because under the tongue it just goes to the bloodstream.
Yeah, and
Now, what?
honestly,
But
I
that's
don't
where it needs to go, right? Like the bloodstream is what does the work. So anything that you're putting into your stomach is food for your bloodstream. It's
It's
like,
for the bloodstream, but is
yeah.
it going to actually be absorbed through the stomach and the intestines? The intestines are gone. We do need the bloodstream, but we can't live, just like when you don't eat, you can't survive just by putting things in your blood. You're eventually going to die because you're not getting enough minerals and vitamins through the digestive process, right? I mean, the blood keeps us alive, but that's only a portion of the absorption. And I could be wrong, guys. I'm not a doctor, so.
And I want to just what she said. We're not doctors and nurses. We're not here to give you any medical advice or anything like that. We're just here to give you suggestions, do your own research. We're trying to give you other alternatives, stuff that maybe you had the question and it's whatever you're doing is not working for you. There's other alternatives that you can do your own research and work with a specialist or
And
a
right.
doctor.
And I agree with Plant Man. You are correct. It can be added to the bag, but we don't really know if she has a bag. We're guessing right now, so we
Yeah,
probably should.
I don't really want to speak on something that I don't. Yeah,
Right,
I
right.
prefer not to. Yeah, I prefer not to. I've never dealt with this type of situation.
Hi, EJ.
Hey, welcome, welcome.
How are you? I wanted to speak on the lady that has the intestinal issue. If she puts flaxseed, chia seed, and hemp seed, equal parts, in a pot and boils it, take it off, let it cool, strain it, she can make herself a salve and a cream to go on her belly and rub it on her belly, her hair, her body. It'll get into your bloodstream through your skin. So her intestines don't have to worry about processing or digesting it.
Interesting. So there you go, Danny. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's been a while. I haven't been on in a long time, but I do now full body, like 100% full body nutrients and care. So I go from all the herbs that I handle, and I go from A, B, and C. But mine, it's kind of like going to the doctor's office. I need to know your blood type. I need to know if you have periods. I need to know what issues you've had. I need to know what surgeries you've had. I need to know A, B, C, D, and E before I can do anything. But with somebody for herself that's needing something for her body, there are other ways that we can accommodate. As like I said, these are things you can go to any grocery store and buy and put equal parts into a pot and boil it. Let it cool, strain it, and then you can put that on your body itself, and your body's going to nutrient put it in the way it needs to. Or you can put it into a bowl. Either way, your body is getting what it needs because flaxseed, chia seed, and hemp seed, they have the omega fatties. They have the magnesium, potassium, calcium. It literally breaks down everything and helps with hair growth. It'll help with your gut system. It'll help literally with everything. And I know a lot of people, I sprinkle it on my salads. I'll put it in smoothies. I'll put it in creams. It's amazing all the way around.
What would be the difference between that and the moringa? I mean, there's moringa out eats it on every level. It's
I'd say add it to the bath. That's how they did it way back in the beginning of time. How many, if you remember right, how many queens or princesses or kings or princes put their herbs in their bathtubs and soaked in, herbal baths? That's because a lot of them couldn't digest it properly. So they couldn't drink it and put it in their blood system, so they put it into their bath system. And it still got into your body that way because the biggest organ on our body is our skin.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
True.
Yeah, that is
True, yeah.
we have a lot of stuff to us.
Hey, I have to head off here, but
What
this was an
for?
amazing
Why?
roundtable.
Where you going?
What was that?
Why? Where are you going? What do you, why
Oh,
do you have to?
my husband has to work on his brother's car, and yeah, I kind of gotta get off here so I can be with
We
the kids.
appreciate you.
Yeah, he's been with the kids this whole time, so I'm not trying to torture him too much.
Thank you for letting you we borrow you and have some of your time, and we
Of
appreciate
course,
that.
this was amazing, amazing, and I will see you guys next time.
Yes, yes.
Bye.
Yes,
Take
please
care.
do. Take care. Stacy, you have anything to comment on? Anything that you see you're reading? I missed a lot of comments and a lot of questions. Like I said, we're not here to diagnose anybody in any of them, like Alma or even Time to Heal Stacy, Danny here, uh, any of us.
I was just
We're if we don't have all your information, and we wouldn't do it on here anyway. We'd have you do a private call or something like that. Like like I said, we're just giving you suggestions, but unless we know more about the person, or what's going on, we can, I can definitely point you in the right direction, and you have private call or whatever with them. They can sit down on you and discuss something like that. But uh, when we see stuff, questions asked, like blood pressure, we can give you suggestions. We're not telling you to do that or that's what you must do because we don't know your whole situation or whatever. I can tell you to pop a moringa seed and instantly your blood pressure would just, like that. But that's not a maintenance. That's just quick relief. What is the maintenance? You need to sit down with, someone and actually see what's going on, uh, and do a regimen because it got you a long time to where you're at now and developed all kinds of problems just because of the food and stuff spraying in the air and probably everything else that we've been doing wrong. Our health, we didn't really think about it, stuff in those Cheetos and, pops when we were a kid or younger, but it's caused over time. So it's going to take time for us to, evaluate what's going on. So if that helps any, and thank you, Plant Manor, uh, for all your commenting and I invited you up here. We'd love to have you up here, join us. Other things going on, but we appreciate the comments. We appreciate you chiming in. That's what we're about. I love this so much. I'm learning a lot myself. Stacy's really quiet, even though she's got the best voice in here for talking. She everyone likes to go to Stacy's and they just she's so kind, she's so quiet, but she explains everything so nice.
thank you.
Me and Time to
So I
Heal,
keep
her voice is. Go ahead, go ahead,
I was just
go
gonna
ahead,
say I
Stacy.
keep
Sorry.
no worries. I keep seeing that Sarah and mostly a name keep asking about immune health. So I don't know if you want to talk about that in a moment.
Yes,
So
yes, yes. That would we could address immune. There's a lot of stuff, just for your immune.
I
That's
myself,
why.
I'm just going to jump in with your foods are going to be best, and I'm a big advocate of fire cider. There's my
Very good.
thing.
Yes,
I love
yes.
fire cider. I also, there's a type of herb called immune modulators, and we should look into immune modulators to really help to strengthen the immune system. Herbs like this are going to be turkey tail, turmeric, astragalus. I saw astragalus earlier. And so these herbs are fantastic. I used astragalus a lot this year, and I actually got a baby cold. I got a cold a few weeks ago and I could barely call it a cold because it was such a mild cold. But I love turkey tail, astragalus, and what was the other one I mentioned? Oh, turmeric. And you don't have to take them all. You can pick which one you want. But I do like what Time to Heal was saying about fire cider. Fire cider is amazing as well. So yeah.
What do you have, Danny? Any questions on that?
No, I just put it in the chat. Black seed oil is one of my must-to go-tos for everything because it will literally, it says it everywhere, can cure anything but death. So black seed oil is my number one thing, but again, it will also have to depend on somebody what they do for an everyday intake, if they eat processed foods, what they sugars. Okay, the number one leading cause of everything in America mainly is sugar. So if there's some things we got to cut back on. There's some things that we may have to substitute. But it'll also have to depend on the person, what they go through from however old they are right now, from the time they were born to however old they are, how many surgeries they've had, how many injections they've had, whether it be your everyday, flu or like your flu vaccines or anything like that. It's going to depend on all of that, even down to your blood type, because there is a thing like a lot of people.
Stacy got off now. I just popped on there. He invited me in and it kicked her out. I'm on no camera. What's going on in my ear pod? There's no camera. I'm very aware.
Hey, Kimmy, you're not on mute.
There, I got it. Sorry, Kimmy. Unmute when. Go ahead. Finish your thing. Sorry, Danny.
Oh no, it's okay. I popped in and I love to help people out, but I also when I started helping myself, curing myself, and for me, I say this a lot for myself. I can help others, and that's what I do. I've got tons of patients that I help. I've also got my certificates and everything, but I'm a full on 100% from head to toe. I don't, and a lot of people take on like immune or gut, and they help with those certain areas, and that's wonderful. I don't want to give out the wrong information because I don't know their situation as far as what they do on a day-to-day basis or what their doctors prescribe to them. And there's the other thing with some of these herbs, and I love my herbs, don't get me wrong. I haven't been to a doctor in now it's been 3 years since I've, been doing my thing. And my thing is it depends on who they are and what they are, what they're dealing with, and what's going on with that. Because some of these herbs can counteract with over-the-counter prescriptions or even prescribed medications. So it literally would depend on a wide range of plethora on that issue right there in itself. But for something that wouldn't be anything that could counter it, black seed oil, like I said, you can take it even with over-the-counter medications. You can even take it with medications your doctor prescribes you because of how wonderful, and I'm going to say this and stress it, black seed oil and moringa, like you've got behind you, they're amazing, absolutely amazing. So it, again, would just depend on the person themselves.
Correct. We're definitely not any type of doctors or clinicians. You always have to do your due diligence, be your own advocate, make sure you always do a skin test. Also, going back to the fire cider, you can make that yourself. You can tailor it to your needs, not only with the citrus, using foods and getting them fermented. That fermentation is so good for your gut. Fire cider does so many things for you, not only with boosting your immune system, but it helps the microbiome, the probiotics, the prebiotics in your stomach that can help you. It can help with digestion, GERD. GERD is basically the pH level in your stomach being off kilter. And our bodies process the apple cider vinegar or ACV differently. At the top of your stomach, there's a little flap. And if the pH gets off level with the hydrochloric acid that's in your stomach, that flap will not close all the way. So when you balance that out, that flap closes. When it's open, that's where you're getting that acidy feeling that burns the esophagus. So you can make your own apple cider vinegar. You can purchase an organic vinegar, apple cider vinegar with the mother. I'd stay away from Bragg's. I encourage everyone to make their own. It's so easy. But take that apple cider vinegar, add some fruits, lemons, limes, grapefruit if you want. What you like. You can add elderberries to it. You can add the turmeric. You can add the onions. You can add all the herbs that you would like to, the oregano, the thyme. Let that sit for 6 weeks and strain it. And then just take a teaspoon a day. That is going to help your body boost its immune system naturally. So think about that too. It's so easy. You can do it at home. It's good for you.
You sure can. And herb safety is one of the most important things out there. And I think everybody on here can agree to that. Just always know what you're doing, always ask questions, and first and foremost, keep yourself and others safe. I think it's something that gets overlooked a lot of times because we're not doctors, we're just herbalists. And we'll give you our advice and our experiences, but absolutely do your own research and know what you're doing and keep yourself safe out there.
I get real creative with my fire cider. I mean, I even put nori brown seaweed in there because it's so beneficial in nutrients. You can put anything in there, and you put cayenne. You don't even have to put pepper in there, heat in there. I make a version without the heat, and I make a version with the heat. But having the cayenne, the jalapenos in there, I've even put Carolina Reapers in there. It helps open up those blood vessels. The cayenne also helps strengthen the walls, the veins, the arteries, the walls of them. So think about it, guys. I mean, you can do it yourself. You really can.
Yeah, I agree. Good.
Oh, can
That's
I
still on.
chime in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Chime in.
Oh, so I wanted to say, you know how they call it the immune system? It's a fancy word for blood, literally. So, like I was saying earlier, it's two parts to your immune system. You got your white blood cells and your red blood cells. So you gotta look at your blood test. You could literally, when you looking on the blood test, like even if you get it from Quest Labs, it'll show you like, oh, a neutrophil, that's a white blood cell, and a basophil, that's a white blood cell, and then a lymphocyte is a white blood cell. So when you look at your blood test, you can see whether you have high lymphocytes or white blood cells or low hemoglobin, which is red blood cells. And when you do that, you can actually determine what you would really need to do. If your blood cells are high and you want to get control of them, then you can use something like honey, because honey is antibacterial, antimicrobial. You can leave honey for years and it will not mold. And that's the difference between the herbs. Like if the herbs go moist and then back to dry again, they can mold. But the honey, it could go cold, back to hot. It's not going to mold unless you introduce water to it. And that's why honey doesn't mold, because it has very little water content. So if your white blood cells are high, meaning you got the inflammation, or you got a lot of phlegm coming up, because even like I'm diagnosed and with immune deficiency, and one of the things that was really bad before I started taking care of myself, my lungs was not clear. And I smoke, y'all just seen this, and my lungs are absolutely, for as big as I am, I got big breasts, everything. My chest is absolutely clear, and that's because I'm fine with honey. Like I know exactly what to do with it. I know how to use propolis, and I feel like these are things like when you think about the herbs. I don't even call myself like a herbalist. I just think about it like Hippocrates said, "Let your food be your medicine." Everything that we're talking about is food. Everything that we're talking about is food. So whether you like oregano as a seasoning and then you use it, you could pair it with your oil, like your olive oil, and then when you cooking the food that you eat, it helps to preserve it, because the word cure means to preserve, like to preserve your body. If you're curing your skin, if you're curing chicken, if you're curing, so it's the same way with your body, right? And then somebody asked one more question, was when you making the black seed oil, do you use black seed oil with olive oil, or do you use 100% pure black seed oil? And I feel like there is a huge difference, and I think that you should use 100% black seed oil, because if you just start drinking any and every kind of oil, that can clog up your arteries, especially like coconut oil. Coconut oil can solidify. Even the MTC, if it gets cold, it can solidify. So you don't want anything that's going to get into your bloodstream and try to clog it up. But I agree with the person who said black seed oil, but I like the black seeds. I just prefer it as tea or in something like honey. That's just my personal preference. And the reason why is because it's two parts to your immune system, the white blood cells and the red blood cells. And you can do all this stuff to your red blood cells and never touch the white blood cells, and the white blood cells will keep growing. For example, there's something called coneflower, or y'all know it as echinacea. If you know echinacea, just put a 2 in the chat. Echinacea will make your white blood cells grow. So somebody who have a problem growing their white blood cells, that's a plant for you. But if you got like HIV, you don't want that plant because it's going to make your white blood cells grow, and that's proof that you have a issue. But let somebody else talk.
No, I agree 100% with you. Our food should be our medicine, and I'm not well versed on black seed oil. I enjoy you sharing your knowledge with us and the honey. I mean, I love honey. I love my local honey for, allergies and fermentation and things like that. But I definitely appreciate your knowledge on it. I wanted to ask you, do you sell these things? You do?
Yeah, I sell honey and I make teas, but I don't sell individual herbs. Like I make tea blends because I
No, I
feel
mean, do you have like a black seed honey type of thing that
yeah.
um oh, you do? Okay, that's good because I would love to try it. Is your website in your bio?
Right. Yep.
I want to try it too.
So, someone had a question, something about honey, I believe it was. I don't know if someone addressed it. Someone asked, what was it? Oh, but honey, wouldn't it feed candida overgrowth?
No, because
Yeah.
people look at it like it's sweet, but honey, like I said, is antibacterial, antimicrobial. So can fungus grow in honey? No.
No, it can't. It won't hurt the can. I mean, it won't feed the candida. She's 100% right. It's a
It'll kill it.
if you
That's
think
why I'm
about it, honey's a great preservative. I mean, it really is.
right.
That's why I use beeswax to preserve most of my lotions instead of
Really?
a synthetic preservative. We use beeswax in almost all of our products.
Absolutely. Absolutely, you should use, and I use beeswax. We have a body balm, and I do it for really cheap because a lot of kids have eczema, and just like the lady said, your skin is your biggest organ, and when you rub the beeswax on your skin, it'll prevent the eczema from growing. It'll prevent the windworm from spreading. Something that's another thing, like the colloidal silver. They're just two things that help to wipe out different infections, and certain people, like people with HIV, their skin doesn't have the power to fight off colds and infections, like whatever is trying to grow on them. So they'll get skin infections, things on their skin, and things like that. So it's just best as a preservative. And then another thing is this is something I use on my teeth because my teeth are terrible, but it's called propolis. I don't know if I can show y'all this. And it's another part of what bees make. Like, so basically, let's say something tries to make the hive a little dirty, or something causes the hive whatever, bees will start to propolis. Like if something tries to attack the hive, let's say a rat will get into the hive or something like that, the bees will sting the rat or whatever to death. They will put propolis all over. It will be like embalming it, so he'll never stink, and they can just still live in that same hive, and then that little whatever tried to invade will just be in that area. Propolis is, like somebody said in the comments, it's amazing. So like, we got a little ebook. That's what the best thing that I could tell people, because it goes through, it shows you how to break down different oils, how to infuse certain oils, but what oils are best, but how to use it as medicine. Like, even when you eat, how cinnamon helps your cognitive function. That's why kids who have cinnamon toast crunch is happier than kids with Fruit Loops, because cinnamon and nutmeg will change your day. I just feel like, there's a reason for every single herb. And if you learn them as food, like, oh yeah, I'll pair this with this and it'll make an exciting night. That's why, they say the person who can cook, she's the best one.
I really enjoy propolis, and I use that same example, except I always said an ant would get into the hive. And there was actually a study done that they did this in a in a clinical setting, and the bees did. It was the ant. They stung the ant, and they encased the ant with the propolis, and they then weeks later went back out and they took that propolis and covered ant out of the hive. They opened up the propolis, and that ant looked like it was in prime condition. It had not disintegrated. It had not started to deteriorate. It's a wonderful, wonderful byproduct of what the bees do. It's really good.
Anything bee related is absolutely amazing if you know how to use it and what it's used for, because each different, I want to call it process, stage, from honey to beeswax to propolis, each has their very own unique properties, and you can use them all together, and they're wonderful. I love all things bees.
Even
Where do you get your
And I'll tell you
propolis
what,
from,
though,
Pirate Meds?
that propolis, what when I've taken it, I have a friend who's a beekeeper. It's the most nasty tasting stuff.
It
Where do you get yours from, Pirate Meds?
I put some in my link tree, but I shop at this market called Moms. Like I try to do a lot of local shopping
Okay,
because I want to make sure that the businesses are there for other people. So
absolutely.
propolis, I always try to find it at Moms, and they'll actually order stuff for you. Like if they don't have it, you can just tell them, and they'll order it if they already have it. And I
Thank
like
you.
it in a paste form too. The Oh yeah, the paste is excellent.
Thank you.
hmm But there's other, like my testimony about pollen is I used to have really severe allergies. Like, I mean, call out of work, my eyes are swollen. I lived in North Carolina and I used to drive a Beetle as big as I am. I used to have a little Beetle. And I said, Lord, if you said you could heal everything. And I was frustrated because I had to call out of work. And I swiped my hand across my car and it had all this pollen on there. And I was like, take me down. And I licked my tongue. And I never had allergies ever since. So that's why I'm an advocate for eating pollen. Like if you just eat a couple little granules, like my kids, they don't have any allergies because that pollen. Yeah, I did. Time to heal.
Down.
I had to take me down. Like I was sick of it. I was sick of it.
Oh, that's great. No, and you know what, friends,
Tina.
if you can find a local beekeeper, get you some local bee honey, etc. It's going to help those allergies just a little bit every day, man. That's best advice that any of us can give you.
That's what I do is I put my local bee honey on top of purple dead nettle or henbit, and I make that into a concoction. And oh my goodness, because it's right here locally, and henbit and purple dead nettle help with allergies all in itself as well. And you talk about I'm up and running within a matter of minutes. It is wonderful.
Guys, I have to jump off here. 5:30 comes early in the morning, so it's always a pleasure. It's great seeing you guys.
Good
Thanks a
night,
lot, you
Anya.
guys,
Thank
for doing
you.
this. I'm going to be doing a live tomorrow. Kim, so I'm going to open up your package. I still haven't opened it up, but I'm going to open it. You should be getting yours here in a day or two, sweetheart.
I can't wait for mine. I'm so excited.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Have a good night.
Have a good
Yeah,
one. Bye bye.
thanks so
Bye.
much for dropping in. Appreciate you. Uh, Again, thanks everybody for coming and being here. Um, Ones that popped in late. In the chat, I have a Saturday morning live where I invite a herbalist or a gardener or someone who's trying to be more self sufficient and helping others, um, just in their issues that they may have that maybe something's not working for them. Every Saturday, 11 a.m. Central, I have a live herbalist or a guest on, and we promote them and just talk about them. And then on Wednesdays, I used to do it first Wednesday of the month. Now I'm doing it 2 times a month on a Wednesday, where I have a panel of live herbalists come in here and talk. Who just popped out? Someone just popped out. But that was lock and key. But this is what I do every Wednesday. If you're new here, so I have a panel of herbalists that will come on here and just talk about different things, a subject, or answer your questions. We're trying to give other people another alternative to our suggestions on helping them with their daily routine. Something that they could add, or maybe something that they didn't know. Maybe they're doing something and it's not working, and but everything that we talk about here, do your own research, talk with your physician, talk with your doctor, talk with a specialist, see if they're telling you something totally different, go see another person that you can have that conversation. It's your health. Your health is important. That's why I do this, and why these other people do this, because each one of you can tell you a story, including myself, of why we do what we do. It's not for fame or money, or because we didn't, we failed doctor school or whatever. It's because something wasn't working in the routine that we were doing in our daily lives already, and we're seeing, taking all these other medications or maybe whatever, and we had to find another alternative. And for everyone's story here that happened, we start looking into, how could we change our eating habits or body or whatever to help the situation and not let it progress more out of hand. And that's the best way I can put it. If you guys want to comment on that, and share, I don't know who that is.
You
But
can dandelion tinctures any type of way. So you can do it oil, alcohol. There's all types of them. You can do teas, coffee, dandelion root, especially the root is amazing for all types of healing. But you can actually bake it and make it into a coffee. So it'll literally be up to the person and what you're also dealing with and what you're trying to treat, in my opinion.
dandelion's one of, like, moringa and whatever. It's every part of the dandelion is beneficial and helpful, so it can be
Me and my
used.
kids are, exactly. Me and my kids constantly are on dandelion and burdock root. Oh my goodness, we love burdock root and then yellow dock. But you want to pair them, the right way, or also what you're also trying to treat. So
That's personal question. That depends, and you guys can answer this. I'm going to give my 2 cents. So everyone's different.
mhm.
Always start out small and test it.
I always tell everybody I help out, start at 5 drops and then work your way up there because the first indicator is going to be your body. Your body's going to tell you what you need to do and how much you need to do and when to back off because you're the first one. When you go to any doctor, they sit down and they have a questionnaire for you. They're going to ask you, you know, um, certain things with your body, and if they do give you medications, are you doing okay on that medication or are you not doing okay? So literally, when you go in anywhere, you're going to tell them how you're feeling, what you're not feeling good with. So your body's going to be your first indicator of how much you'll need and when you need to back off.
Yes, you're welcome. I don't know who Instagram you use. For, I don't know who that person is. Anyone else have questions or anything? Anyone want to comment? You guys know uh, Danny here. She has her own products. I do believe you can
I
go to her
do.
website. Make sure you follow her. Visit her, and I think you do consultation too or something like
I
that,
do
right?
consultations. This is a brand new account because they took my old account. Um, they didn't
Yeah.
like what I was doing. That account got really up there real quick too, and that's why I was like, "Oh my God!" I lost everybody, everybody. I even lost you, EJ, and it took me a hot minute to get everybody back. And it's just now starting back at it again.
Danny was actually one of the first herbalists that I actually did an interview with on
Hmm.
here, doing my thing, and I was switching over, and I was into. Uh, that's when I was starting my microgreens, and I was into herbs, and I never was taught to herbalist, and I think she was my first one, and then it wasn't quite some time later until I started doing what I'm doing now with the lives and stuff like that.
You're
I
doing
got
Uh,
big
amazing.
this morning. I was big this morning.
Were you?
Yes, I got my live. I got this page back. Like I have to keep 3 pages. I got one page I can never go live on, and that one got like 90 something thousand. And then I got this page. It got 10,000. And like as I be sitting down here, like I call this the office, the cars will go by and they'll like violate me for that. Like, oh, you're doing stunts, and they hit me like 5, 6 times for it. And then they was like, your live is permanently banned. But it was by God's grace they gave me like 3 hours off, and then it came back. I was like, I seen myself from my other page. I was like, oh, my page back. And then I was I lost. But they
Yeah,
hit me today, like just recently. Like I said, dang.
I've lost 15 accounts on here.
Whew.
15. I was teaching, EJ came around when I was teaching how to make your own herbs, your kitchen herbs. Simple little kitchen herbs. And I was teaching everybody. I didn't ask for anything. There was no payments. I teach even to today for free. I don't
Me
need any
too.
payment because you know what? Everything that we need healing with, Mother Nature and our, Father Sky, everybody gave it to us. It's right here in front of us
For free.
for free. So why am I going to charge them in every one of my packets with all my patients? My first packet that goes out free, a whole startup kit for everything from A to Z. And like I said, I do everything in your body from head to toe
That's nice.
hey,
because
welcome
it's
up.
that's what we're supposed to be here to help one another. And if we're not helping one another, we're breaking each other down. And I don't need to be a part of that scheming system.
That's true. That's true. Now I feel like I think I've been at it for like maybe 3 years. And I remember when I was working and I did it. I remember being up so late at night, and I remember looking back at the text messages because I was so tired. Like I'm tired because it was that many people who was ailing.
Hmm.
And my first page, I think it got to like 120,000 when I first came on and was taking talking about black seed oil. But I was still working at the same time, so it was like it's excruciating. Like, but I understand what you mean about like the capitalistic system. But my business, like Pirate Meds, the actual business, goes to about like $8,000 just to flip it.
Hmm.
Even to sell the product. So at some point, you have to put yourself in it too because you'll get
Right.
exhausted and burnt out, and then you'll be like lashing out. Like I noticed that, you know what I'm saying? So
That's
we try to keep our product like at a fair price
right.
because I don't want to, like, I got an 8 ounce, then I have a 12 ounce, then I have a
Mhm.
16 ounce. Like it's always something to fit in everybody's budget
Right.
that want to get healed. And then we told you what it was just in case you want to make it on your own.
Hmm.
But I like the consultation. Like if somebody called me, that, yeah, of course that's free. But I'll put an ebook out. I think that you should also, make sure that you get compensated a little bit so that you could breathe. Like
Right.
those times, like those rainy days, you still need to like, and at least some way, because people like take us for granted, and I feel like that's not fair. Like there's
Right.
people who overdo it, but then the people who you got, like me and you, we get burnt out. And you got to think about it. Somebody has to pour into you. Like those gifts of love, or like my birthday came up. A lot of my followers sent me, I turned 40. They sent me $40 for my birthday.
Aw.
Little things like that. So making sure that people call you up and tell you they praise reports.
Right.
Somebody send me pictures of when they son get new facial hair. I be cracking up. Like just those little things, like or little kind gestures or building those relationships, and it's they way outnumber us. So I'm just saying, just make sure that you don't pour or spread yourself too thin. That's my best advice. Like
The
don't
thing,
spread yourself too thin.
right. And the thing with mine is the first startup kit, and that's why I was very like precise on that. My very first startup kit, that's like free. After that, my patients come back to me. If you're coming back and you keep coming back and to me after the first one, you get a 30% discount. Always guaranteed for life for as long as you come to me. And then that takes off a lot of the stuff. Like generally that'll take care of a little bit of the shipping and part of the the total price. I've got patients literally all over the country, all over literally Australia, Scotland, Mexico, all over the United States. And I love helping them because every time they contact me, it's a success story. Every single time. And I love that because we take the time. Our consultations literally take anywhere from 2 to 5 hours. And the reason that is because we are breaking down everything. Everything. We're talking surgeries, your body, periods if it's a woman, men, just multiple different things. There's a lot of people that suffer from diabetes, and that's the number one thing right there that sucks for a lot of people. So it takes some time for the first consult. But after that, we get to love each other and know each other because we become a family. And when I have an issue, like let's say I may run low on something, I have herbalists that are all over the place that they're like, hey, anytime you need anything, reach out to us. I'll compensate them. They also get compensation. Or I have a guy that, he's got his own garden and he grows wild. And when he harvests and cleans, and he is very precise, he'll harvest and clean and ship. And when he ships it to me, he'll get compensated for that as well. So we all help one another out. But my very first startup, I can't charge because it weighs heavy on me because there are a lot of people that just need that little bit of help. And if they don't, want to come back and can't afford it, guess what? I'll teach you how to make it for free and I will go step by step, step by step. And it won't matter if it's 5 minutes or an hour or 10 hours.
And you know what? That's God's
Answer
grace,
a
right?
couple questions. I'm gonna address a couple questions. People are asking questions, and before I do that, Zoba or let's see, I don't know. Can you introduce yourself and who you are?
Hi, my name is Christy. I am from Europe.
Hi.
Hi, are you herbalist? Do you have a question, or you wanted to be up in
Yes,
the?
actually, I do. I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry, my English is not very well. But I saw before talking about the honey. So, how do you know? How do I know if it's real honey or not?
I don't understand the question.
She said, how does she know if it's real honey or not? Well, I feel like if you get it from a beekeeper, that's the closest thing to the source. So where do you source the honey? If you're buying it in a store, when you flip it over, it just need to say 100% honey.
Right. So any of I'll answer that really quick. So any of our guests here are not going to be actually buying it from Walmart or something like that. They're herbalists. They put a lot of time in making these herbs or tinctures or just stuff for their own personal use. They're going to use quality stuff. Either they grow it themselves or they get it from a farmer or herbalist or someone who's credible. So they're just like I said, they're not just going to buy bulk stuff from uh, Walmart or something like that. They're going to go through a grower or a farmer or something like that. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, but there is any secret like to check if it is real or not?
I saw it said if you put vinegar in the honey, if it fizzes, it's fake.
If it is what? I'm sorry.
Vinegar.
Yeah.
Vinegar.
I
And if
actually
it,
have several beekeepers on here that I talk to, and I'll bring them on, and you can ask them
if
any
I put
questions.
the vinegar and the honey, and what's going to happen?
If it fizzes up, then they
Uh,
say it's fake. Like I saw a test, like where a guy was like, "Yes, if it fizzes up, then it's fake honey."
fake honey. Okay, thank
Hmm.
you for the information.
Well, thanks for asking the question. Thanks for jumping up. Appreciate you.
Okay.
Question. I don't know what that was about, but what are some of the questions, Anna? I'm sorry, I went back. Can't see anyone but private and EJ. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Who had a question? Oh, I think okay. Uh, Danny was answering that. Thank you, Danny.
Absolutely. I didn't want to interrupt.
No, what's that? Oh, okay. Um, couldn't you repeat that about fizzing honey? Oh yeah, I believe. Go ahead, Pirate Mads. What'd you say? Adding vinegar.
Yeah, somebody like I was watching a video and a guy was basically saying if you add vinegar and the honey starts to fizz, then it's fake. But also, I've seen people like it's going to repel water. So if you put it in like cold water, it should just harden up. It shouldn't dissolve into the water really quickly. Or if you like put it on your hand, a little droplet on your hand, it should just hold up onto your hand unless it's like a heavy amount. But it should drip like really, really slow. So they had like a couple different tests. But when you do purchase, because everybody doesn't have a local format, everybody doesn't, and I don't discourage people from going into like international markets or going into things like that. And when they shopping for honey, because you can't always get like we in Pennsylvania, we got Amish like the farmers come in, but
Right.
sometimes you gotta go. So if it says like honey product where you're at, then it's not real, because they have to tell you if it says honey product, then it's something, it has like some type of syrup inside. But 100%, you're looking for 100% honey. So I just feel like you just got to get in where you can fit in,
Right.
like
Right.
because a lot of people don't have access, and that's one thing that I learned. Like some of us live and some of us have access, but not all of us have that access. So even you don't want to kind of discourage people from not even taking advantage, because some people won't even be able to get to our website, get to a farm, but they suffering. And if you walking through somewhere that has it, please try it, because I'd rather you try it. And once you see that little bit work, you can go to the exquisite places and get it. But
I think
sometimes
it's
honey
getting
and lemon to save your life.
yeah, real honey to fake honey. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you get in these stores that are just sugar, like you just explained. If it doesn't say a certain thing and whatever, but there's there's all these apps out now that you can download, and you can find a local farmer's market, a beekeeper, a store, a mom and pop store that's going to have um, understand where you're buying it. If you're looking for benefits and you're taking sugar water and it says honey on it, and it's not thing, you're looking for an alternative. And I see people that do this, and Anna, we'll get to that person here in a bit. Um, uh, they say, "Hey, I took this before, and it didn't do crap for me. It didn't work for me. Black seed, moringa, certain oils or something, even honey." And I says, "Well, where'd you get it?" I took this, whatever it was, some generic whatever. And I'm like, well, there's your answer right there. I mean, so I understand a lot of people, maybe not, but just kind of where you get it from. Uh, like if you're going to do, if you have the chance, like I said, like her black seed and honey, she gets hers from a certain whatever. It's quality stuff, and she also tells you how to make it. So if in a pinch you could make it yourself, a lot of like Danny will have stuff, whatever, and if it's in a pinch you can make it yourself. Stuff like with what I have, there's such a big demand from here in the US, it doesn't exist, so people buy it from out of state or out of our country. And so and a lot of it from other countries are going to put fillers and stuff like that in it, so you're not getting quality stuff. Yes, you'll still be getting something, but there's other issues or whatever. So just got to be watch what you're buying. In my opinion, I mean, I don't want you to buy something and it not work for you because of it's not actually what you're looking for. If
Right.
that makes sense.
So there was a lady in here, I hope she's still in, Rebecca, and she asked about slippery elm. And my suggestion with slippery elm is take it with marshmallow root so it cools it down, because slippery elm can be it's a wonderful herb, but it can warm your body up. So take a marshmallow root cools the body and will help with your ingestion and things like that as well. So it doesn't make you too hot.
There you go. Someone asked about lumbar.
Yeah, I commented on that. Mullein and sage, in my opinion, if you get it in mullein and sage in an oil and rub it on your body, that's going to help a whole lot with the pain and inflammation, along with if you want to do turmeric or ginger, that will help as well with inflammation and pain. There's a few things to help with that.
Right, right. I did not. Yeah, I didn't know that either. Thanks to Danny for throwing that out.
I love my herbs. Like I said, I've got since me and you, EJ, I now have about 600 species I work with. About that. And I love every single one of them. Every one of them. My kids are just at awe. They come and Mama, I got this scrape, or Mama, I got this bite, or Mama, I'm not feeling good. And we just take care of it. I even teach my kids what the right ones are, what the wrong ones are. We harvest a lot and then we learn. We've learned all these years and it's been amazing.
That's good. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've heard your story. I think I've heard everyone's story on here. Even Forge didn't find out here. He's on silent. I think he just walked away, so he didn't have to be rude and turn it off. But if he's listening, he can. Thanks for him stopping by as well. A lot of stuff has happened to each and every one of you, including myself, and we just keep doing what we're doing because we actually love you guys and we want you guys to see help. We want to let you know, and it's not just like taking something and you stop and I think I talked about this the other day in my Saturday morning life. You don't just stop. Okay, my blood pressure's down. I'm good. It's like taking a pill. It's what they tell us to do. Okay, just take the pill. You're good. And if it flares up again, just come back and get another pill. Herbs don't work like that, and your health doesn't work like that. You're in that situation because you got there for a reason. So just because you fix it, don't do the minor fix. Do the long term fix. So monitor it again. If it's something goes, you can to restart. But a lot of these you don't want to be on them long term. Even herbs, you don't want to be on them long term.
Exactly.
But you can do them for maintenance. So after you help the issue, then do something for maintenance. Don't just wait until it flares up again and it's just like, oh man, well I
Yeah.
got blood pressure went up again. I wonder why. Well, I'll just take another pill. Or maybe I'll just take that one tincture I took before. It's been sitting around. I only took half a bottle or whatever, so I think I have some left. But
I tell all all my patients, I tell them you have to be consistent. Herbs, no matter what, even tea, no, even if it's the smallest little bitty thing, tea, you have to be consistent or it's not going to work. But it's not an everyday thing. It's a handle at the moment, correct it, and then you can take your other wonderful, beautiful herbs like your burdock or yellow dock or black seed oil. You could take those few little ones, oregano oil. Now my first herb, my beautiful herb, I love it. Oregano oil is my go-to for literally so much for my body because it helps so many things that even with animals, here's what a lot of people don't know. I've been on a ranch and lived on a ranch my whole entire life. And literally, there are some herbs, not a whole lot, but there are some herbs that we can even give our fur babies to help them to with parasites, even ourselves. Moringa is another one. Rosemary, dandelion. These things are wonderful for our fur babies, even for ourselves. So when we see, the things like that, like you were talking earlier about your everyday chemicals in our air, rosemary right there and ginkgo biloba, those two things are going to get rid of the radiation that is in your body that we accumulate on a daily basis. And I tell everybody that. I can scream it I'm blue in the face that those things that they we breathe in and we eat every day, heavy metals, toxins, it's in our bodies. We have no choice because it's literally everywhere. But there are herbs that will help us, combat that too.
time to. I mean, Pirate Mads, do you have anything to end this, or any comments, or anything you want to advice that you like to give to people? Do one of your sermons or whatever. You always have something great to say.
Yeah, I mean, I was out because I was listening to her and then I forgot what the question was. So I was like looking back for the question
I'm
because
sorry.
Was it for the Simply Elm? Was it, or was it for the disc pain or the lumbar?
I'm gonna stay away from all that. Oh, the
Yeah,
fur babies. That's what I was thinking about. What she said. Fur
good mention.
babies will go feed themselves. You ain't never see the cat run outside and go start eating the grass. She'll start eating the dandelion leaves. They'll feed that stuff to themselves. Like I know that bears, they look for honey, and I know animals will look for honey when they get sick too. So it's like we all need it in our immune system. And then the other thing I wanted to say is like when you were saying, you got to keep doing it. So your body is like a car. You put gas in your car every week. Why wouldn't you do that for yourself, for your blood? Like
Exactly.
you put gas in your car, then you know something you need a little, you had to change your oil. So that's even different from putting gas in your car. But you know, every certain amount of miles, you kind of want to do that. So that's how I look at the black seed of honey. Even if you're not sick or have a major ailment, you're still running your car. So a child whose mom is like, yeah, put this honey on this they're going to get more than somebody whose child is just eating chips,
Exactly.
you know? So I feel like me personally, I'm into the blood health. Like
Right,
about it, the
right.
honey is real because it's gonna clean your lungs out.
Mm-hmm.
That's the number one test. You know the lemons are real, they got some seeds inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes just go ahead and plant the seeds. Like I really prefer to look at it like your food is your medicine.
Yeah,
And every little thing you put on your taste bud has a purpose.
exactly. Me and my kids, we do parasite cleanses every 3 months. Every 3 months, we do a parasite cleanse because we do the same thing. And now I tell everybody this. What's the one thing when you take your animal to the doctor or to the vet? What's the one thing they test first for? Parasites. And what's the one thing that you're going to treat for immediately? Parasites. But that's the number one thing in America that I'm hoping it changes and I'm hoping it turns around. In some places they do, they do that. But a lot of the places, if you go in and you ask for a parasite test, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. And a lot of people, even through TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, they've shared their stories. The doctors will send a psych doctor in there and talk to them because they believe that they've gone crazy. They want you to believe you're going crazy when you ask for a parasite test. When in all reality, there's other countries like Ecuador that when all of the C word came around, he sent a basket home to everybody in his country. The biggest thing was for parasites, and then getting them right the way they needed to be to take care of themselves. We just don't, we're in the United States, we don't, I'm trying to use my words correctly so I don't get in trouble because like I said, 15 accounts I've lost because I've said the wrong thing or someone got offended or whatever the case may be, or TikTok may have, but either way, but it's true. We, why aren't we doing the same for ourselves? Why aren't our doctors taking care of us? And since I've been treating myself at home and my children at home, we don't get sick. We may get cuts and bruises and we may get an occasional allergy or a migraine, but other than that, we are healthy, happy, and technically, EJ knows this. They gave me an expiration date in 2021, and I shouldn't be here right now. I shouldn't be walking. It was a terminal, stage 4B, gone. And I'm still here because you know what? I finally broke down. I hit my knees and I'm like, I need help. I need help. And at that moment, it was like I got hit by a freight train. Everything started lining up the way it was supposed to on time. And even my doctor, because I wouldn't wear a mask in the office, they kicked me off their service. They kicked me off their service because I wouldn't wear a mask 20 feet. I'm like, no, I'm not going to. I got diagnosed with seizures a long time ago, and you're wanting me to put a mask on my face to walk 20 feet? If I die, that's on you. And I'm not telling my babies goodbye. So, no, I won't. And they wrote me a letter 2 weeks later saying I was kicked off their service. I'm like, you know what? Okay, you just gave me a terminal disease, a death sentence, literally. And okay, so I took my 6 months after that happened. I did my crying. I did my, pouting and whining. And I finally got up. I brushed myself off. I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta get up. I got babies that rely on me. I got a husband that relies on me. I've got animals that rely on me. I can't do this. And that right there is that's when I hit my knees. I'm like, I need help. You know what? God and Mother Nature and the universe, I need help, please. And it was like everything. I woke up, it was everything I needed. And I'm like, okay, I hear you. I got myself better. And after that, after I started, getting to the point where I could walk again, I was in a wheelchair. I could walk again. My MS was gone. GBS gone. Seizures gone. Heart disease gone. The big C word gone. And my doctors and everybody told me I was a walking anomaly. Walking anomaly. 5 diagnoses that literally they said I was disabled on every single one of them. I kid you, I've got pictures and receipts to prove every single bit of it. EJ's heard my story many, many times. But I will not sit here and let them tell me that I'm going to be taken away from my babies because they want to keep pumping all these nasty, toxic poisons back in my body. So I'll keep coming back to them. For what? Another Band-Aid? Like I'm on an assembly line? No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm good.
It's not for any doctor or person to tell anyone their timeline. And I've heard Pirate Meds talk about this. So, uh, there's only one person, is going to tell you, hey, but if for a person, they're wrong. They don't know. No one knows. I can't tell any of you in here, say, hey, you're going to kick the bucket tomorrow, and I can't tell you you're going to live for whatever. You get hit by a car. There's many things equations that could happen. but like I said, we don't have, that's ridiculous. And, they can say whatever, but, and I think we talked about what's his name was here. I think before you got here, Pirate Mets, Tracy was telling that, it's, some doctor is following, it was the placebo thing. People think, hey, and that's all, it's all in your mind, hey, I'm, like we were talking about the other day, people are just, oh, it's genetic, and I have diabetes. So, it runs in my family. I'm just going to deal with it. This is the mind frame. This is
The
people
person
that,
making the dinner running the family. That's why everybody got diabetes. The person making the dinner runs in the family. I'm just saying.
right. So it's, you can decide, hey, welcome, Angela. How
Hi,
are
I
you?
just saw you were on. I was like, I gotta come say hello.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You just missed it. Where these every Wednesday I have a well, not every Wednesday. Sorry, I started it with one Wednesday a month, first Wednesday of the month. It was going so well. I have a group of herbalists, a panel of roundtable, and we just talk to other people, kind of what you do with your schooling,
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
we just a group of minds all getting together and answering questions and just hanging out and discussing different things and just helping people is what we do.
That is so cool.
Same as you. So, how's everything? How's your farm? How's your chickens going around?
Actually, yes. It got my chickens out there. So funny story. I don't think I told you this. I was actually invited to speak and do a debate at Polyface Farm. Are you familiar with Joel Salatin?
Yes.
Yeah. So they had me go there to do a debate about PMAs. He had did like the Rogue Food Conference last week with John Moody and Joel Salatin and like a bunch of other people. And so yeah, it was really wild. We got to go there and check out his farm, and it was fun. We got to talk about debate about PMAs, and yeah, it was really cool.
Private membership association is what she's talking about. A lot of people, and this is, I think, I don't know if I talked to Danny about this before, and I'll let you actually tell them what PMAs are. And I was introduced to Pastor, and you remember talking to Pastor, and I was looking for doing a LLC for my business at the time, and he's like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" And all they were doing all these um, by Pirate Meds. Uh, and had a discuss, with herbalists or gardeners and stuff, and all the stuff that was going on, trying to regulate us, and you see what they're doing with the Amish and stuff. So at the time, I was researching and doing stuff about PMAs, and uh, and now I know a lot more since then, of course, and so do you. And wow, it was but that's something that I thought, a lot of gardeners and he could benefit from at the time because of the stuff that they were doing, and they're still trying to do. So, you know, working anything in, either a trust or something like that, a private membership association, you know, and that's what the Amish do. They have a private membership association. They have, that set up, and they still coming after them saying, hey, you know, whatever, so if they're doing it to them, it'd be easy for them to tell Danny and myself and Forge and stuff to say, hey, you know what, we don't care about the Constitution or your rights or anything. We're going to tell you can't sell, dandelions or raw milk or, or beef or whatever. You're going to do whatever the heck we tell you, you know.
Yeah,
But
it's
that's
crazy.
hear that.
Yeah,
How'd it go?
it was really cool. I think it went really, really well. So they had invited a bunch of different like PMA groups to come and be a part of the debate. I guess when they had done the Rogue Food Conference the last couple of years, they've always like had someone be there to talk about PMAs. And I guess the people who had spoken before had like given conflicting information, and there was just, there's it's like the Wild West. And so this year they decided that rather than have like one person speak, they wanted to do like a debate, like a formal debate where they could ask questions and have moderators, and kind of each group would present their beliefs or their perspective on PMAs. So the groups that I've spoken out against, they all refused to participate in the debate. There was only one other group that agreed to be a part of the debate with us, and that group was Pro Advocate, and they have been doing for-profit PMAs for like 50 years. And it was very interesting because we agree with them on a lot of stuff, and they also speak out against a lot, like what most people are selling as a PMA, which is totally fraudulent. And so yeah, it was really interesting. We had a couple like minor points of like disagreement, but overall we were like on the same page about like the big parts of it, I think.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was good. It was really interesting. But I think it's definitely a conversation that needs to be had, especially in like the food freedom space, because if like someone has to be willing to challenge these unjust laws and rules and regulations, like someone has to be willing to take the government to court and have the money and the energy and the wherewithal and the guts to like actually fight that battle in court and win and say, I should be allowed to purchase raw milk from my neighbor. Like, I shouldn't have to ask your permission to do that. That's absurd.
And this is my whole movement. So, Danny, I'm going to introduce you to Angela Hardner here. She's actually has her own homeschooling academy. She's a teacher. She wrote several books, but her most recognized book is A Toxic Teacher, I believe. And so she's she has many hats, but this is what she does. She's has a PAX Academy is the name of her, and she does unschooling. So and this happened, stories like ours, but reason I do this and introduce other people and build these communities, people like you, Angela, and Danny here, and Forge Around and Find Out over here, who's still listening, I guess. But we can't go and do what you want with the government unless we come together as a group on some bridge, on bond. And our health and food and our water are the things that we can bridge and agree upon. We can all go and talk about that before we can talk about religion, politics, sex, gender, or money. None of those we'd have all different ideas and whatever. But we can, if we're talking about our health, we can definitely be on the right path and say, hey, you know what? Let's do it this way. And you're gonna have some people, doctors are the best. And we're not saying that they're not. We're not saying whatever of this, but ourselves, we want to be healthier, whatever that is. Our food, we're tired of eating. We don't want to eat these plastic stuff and sprayed on stuff and stuff that, it's banned in other countries and stuff. We want to be able to trust the food that we're eating. So if that's growing on, so our common bond, if we build communities like that and have other like-minded people, then we can say, hey, you know what? We can approach and have these debates and do this. This is my thought, my purpose. This is my thing, why I'm doing what I'm doing. Has nothing to do with Danny or yourself, but I was thinking, hey, I've talked to people on here before I even started this. I says, we have food in common. All of us could probably talk about food all day. Hey, even if it's vegetarian or vegan or whatever, hey, I love food. Well, I love drinking water. I love beverages. So I was like, hey, and our health. I can't help my neighbor or go talk about other countries or other people if my health is bad. If I'm got to help my neighbor's sick. Well, hey, this worked for me. Really? I don't believe that, because But you get what I'm saying. So, and other communities will say that, hey, that from them farms, he's building a community. He's got a team of herbalists and homeschoolers and other people that are like-minded, and they're building a community of local farmers and apps and herbalists. I guarantee, like I said, if anything hits the fan right now, man, I have a group of herbalists that I know, and they're all teaching. I've learned a lot from all these herbalists. Like I said, a lot of people says, people call me a herbalist. I go, I'm not. I've learned. They're like, who'd you learn it from? I go, well, them. Like Danny and stuff. And they're like, who'd she learn it from? Well, they learned it from. Well, you learned it from them. They taught it to you. Now you're a herbalist.
I feel like you're an herbalist. I feel like that counts. I would call you an herbalist for sure. Like you have a lot of knowledge about all of that.
It's from people like Danny and Miss Garden Lady and Time to Heal and Forge Around and Find Out. This community right here has helped me learn. And tonight, Danny taught us some more stuff, and I learned some other stuff. We're just like blown away, like this. And this is the thing I do, 2 times a Wednesday, a month or whatever. And you on your thing, when I hear you do your lives or you're answering people's questions about unschooling or homeschooling, and there's so many stuff out there that people don't hear, and of course they censor and block, and hey, they don't want you to do that. Well, just go to school, just come to the store, just do this, just follow orders, stop being disobedient. This is the stuff that we're trying to get away from, and not all is bad. I'm not saying that, but to have an open mind and listen, those are the people I'm attracting. Those are the people I want to talk to. Those are the people I want to reach. People that are, just looking, hey, I don't know what to do. I have people in here that I reached in touch today, and that's what I want. And building a community is just not about us herbalists and farmers and stuff, but it's about people like yourself that are teachers and telling people, hey, if you did this path, it starts at home too with what the kids are learning and stuff like that. It starts there, and
Learning about our food, I feel like that should be so
right.
fundamental in our kids' education. Like they should learn about where our food come from, how to grow it, how to like produce and like care for our health and our well-being through the things that we consume and the way we consume them. And
it's how we learn it. It's not through a book, or it's hands-on. Some people are hands-on, and it's by experimenting other things. Okay, well, let's go to the farm and let's see how they grow it, and let's see the animals or whatever. Let's, there's a lot of these places don't even do field trips anymore and do stuff, and they're afraid to do anything, and they want to teach everyone on the computer online. And most people don't learn that way. But to have something like, a lot of people says, well, don't you need to go to school to do this, or have social contact, or you get all this stuff all the time, and if people just stop and think, like I said, common sense for a lot of things, I have my opinion. You guys can agree or disagree, but that's good of what I do. I don't care. I care about your opinion, but we're allowed to have that, and we can still have discourse, and and just talk about it, and still come to an agreement, even if we disagree or agree. We can still do that, but I'm still going to be here for your health and well-being. If it's for your children, if it's for you, it's for your dog, your cats, it's for your soil. Danny, your question.
I am crying. I wanted to let you finish because you're amazing, EJ. Ever since I've met you, and I'm so happy to be back up here with you again, just to say that. And Angela, nice to meet you. Then I wanted to throw out, I live in the state of Texas, and our governor passed a law that stated that we can help each other's neighbors out. And I love that here. I really do. And there are some things about Texas I don't like, but there are a lot of things that I do like. But one thing I will say for a lot of people that are, if they're wanting to help each other's neighbors and they live in a state that's not allowing that, go down, it's just online. It's called the Food Cottage Law. The food cottage law is food handlers that literally cost like $8 to $10 depending on which state you live in. It's not that hard. There's test. It's a test. You take it, you pass, you're certified right then and there, and you can literally make food, take it to your local farmers market and sell it.
Right. And
It is
but check
amazing.
your
Or help your neighbor out.
check your food cottage laws.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Oklahoma has the number one food cottage law in the United States. We used to be like number 29th or something like that, 30th or something. But we changed a couple things. Now we're the number one cottage law. And what she's talking about, you actually don't need any certificate, depending on your state, though. Like I said, check with your state because some of them require handling things and whatever, like California and Colorado, and I don't know if they have do in Texas, but here in Oklahoma, there's no license. You just have to understand, and as long as you're not the only law that they is if you're not hurting anyone,
Right.
but you can sell cookies,
Mm-hmm.
tincture, plants, whatever, farmers
There's
market.
all kinds of stuff that you can sell with the food cottage law, and it helps in so many different ways. Now, I know I don't need that in the state of Texas, but it does help if I want to take my stuff to the local farmers market. That is absolutely amazing. And, like you had said, I was born in Oklahoma and moved to Texas in '99. So it's one thing that through this journey I've learned that it's helped a ton. And there are other things that you can get on board with as far as, other certificates that I, have looked into and got, my husband and I own our own business and we have an LLC, but under our LLC, you can umbrella. I've umbrellaed my business under our shared business. So I umbrellaed under him. And let me tell you, it's a different ball game and it is tough at times because like I said, my first startup kit I give away for free because I want them to get better. And I'm sending them, I'm not kidding when I say this, it's a 6 to 8 month supply. So
We'll have to talk about your LLC, but that's another thing now.
yeah, we
I
can do
got
that.
and you did umbrella, so it's as long as you have it under another business, it's not your main business. You should never have because you got to separate your business from from yourself, and an
Yeah.
LLC does not do that.
So see, I've got my ag number, my EIN number, I have all of that, my tax number.
I mean, you can get that without an LLC. LLC
Right,
is your
exactly.
it doesn't separate you, so you're still paying. So when you have a business like a C corp or S corp or even a trust or whatever, and you can have LLCs under your trust or your main business, but when you pay taxes, you pay for a business, you pay just your business since it's 20%. When you pay for an LLC, you're still paying your separate, and you're still paying your they're double dipping.
Pretty
And
much, yeah. But there's other ways to incorporate it where because a CPA is a wonderful thing when you own your own business, and especially when you are busy as my husband and I, and they help you in miraculous ways and show you the ins and the outs. And I believe with all my heart that a CPA is a must needed thing in a business that when you get to that point.
when a CPA and a SPA, because CPA can only show you certain stuff. There's another person who actually specializes. They specialize on laws, the new stuff that whatever I forget what that's called, but and there's actually a guy who actually King and the other guys Wesley who actually talk about this, and I'll tag you in one of the videos and tell you why. And understanding the LLC in Delaware, New Mexico, Las Vegas, and I believe the other one's Colorado, is where you should actually have an LLC because actually it's private. You don't have to renew it for 2 years, I believe, 2 or 3 years or whatever, and it's not public, so
Right.
they can't actually get into. So, but these are other little things. But like I said, everything you should have your main
Yeah.
business in a trust because you don't want to own anything basically. So,
Mhm.
uh,
Yeah, the laws and logistics on all of it when you go into foods, any type of foods, saving yourself, because I'm not out wanting to hurt a soul. Nobody. Now, do I want to help heal them? Absolutely. I think we should help heal each other, but there are the way, certain things in certain areas you have to cross your T's and dot your I's but to be able to help your neighbor, just like Angela was saying, that should be that's the one thing I got taught as a child. Help thy neighbor. No matter what, help thy neighbor. And there are so many states that are against that. And it's like, but why? Why would you want your state to be against your neighbor when you should be able to turn and rely on your neighbor for literally anything and everything, whether that be a cup of sugar or whatever?
what they do though, it's with these, and that's what one thing I'm trying to break into and show when, and this is one of the purposes of this Wednesday thing. So different like-minded people come together, but they're trying to say, hey, well, don't go over to your neighbors. That could be dangerous. He could kidnap you, or you get shot, or hey, they're trying to scare people. And like I said, when I came out here to or Oklahoma, everyone was hey waving, and I just moved to a nice neighborhood, a nice small town here in Oklahoma when I first came out here, and they actually, hey, welcome neighbor. Even when I went to New Mexico, they would wave it, depending where you live. But I came from LA, California, and you didn't wave to or smile at it. Hey, what are you looking at? Do I know you? Turn around, who you waving to? They kind of have that
Yeah.
great to see you. Hey, excited community and really. Hey, thank you, Angela. I know you have your time is valuable and you have stuff to do. I appreciate you coming by and saying hi. You could address that in here. We would you could just barge in and cut us off. I just wanted to introduce you to Danny and keep doing what you're doing. You're great, and you guys need to get together and you discuss what about a PMA and stuff like that and more of that. Um, I love you, Angela. Keep doing what you're doing. She's very. If Danny, if you're not following, you should. She's
Yeah, I
very
follow.
very very knowledgeable, and I've had her on her just a couple times, but she's a good person to know, and I love what she's doing, helping like what we're doing. She's still same concept. She learns from us, and she's helping these other people, like you just said. Well, she helps them, and uh, getting these kids or children out of these toxic institutions. In my opinion,
I
and
agree.
and um and she's doing that. A lot of people, the questions that they have and don't believe in the stuff that you hear and put out there, they're like, well, I told was this and this. It's nothing like that. And she
Yeah.
says, these are my children and these are other people's children that are whatever, and look at them, they're thriving.
Hmm.
My parents did it. So I did it to my children. They actually found a school that actually was kind of like that, so it kind of worked out. But anyways, um, I love having you here. I don't. Thanks for everyone that's still in here, still and hanging out. And I know it's such a long live. I have to put this all on my YouTube. So if you guys missed any of this, any part of the live, it's going to be on my YouTube channel, From Them Farms, of course. Um, so it'll be on there for you guys to rehash and go over and leave comments or whatever. So I encourage you guys that aren't on YouTube and haven't followed my YouTube channel over there, go follow it. I'm on. I have a Facebook group too now, so it's From Them Farms. But I'm gonna post this on there so you guys can rewatch it and share it with your friends and family, whoever. Danny, I appreciate you being on here so much. Thanks for finding me again. I'm sorry everything that's happened. After 17 accounts, I think I have 5 left. This one's different than all the rest of the accounts, and I've just if you guys are new, like I said, there's a new thing. It's test driving it right now, but I invite you guys to go over there. There's, it's called Bump Social. There's nothing going on over there right now. We're just test marketing everything, but get an account, and we could actually, you guys can do a live, and we'll all join you in there. There's no one in there. We could be cussing and yelling and doing whatever we want. There's no one to tell us no. So it might be good for and I know they're not going to have restrictions. They created this thing because a lot of the stuff that is going on, and I don't think this app is ever going to close down because of all the money that's pouring into it from pharmaceuticals and other advertisers.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just there. It may, and there's tons of other platforms. I understand that. They asked me to do this and check it out, and they're supposed to, money wise, for creators that are actually make money on these platforms. This is the new platform to actually, if that's your cup of tea. I'm just using it and understand it because I'll be able to share and do more stuff, and I can put more into it. Whatever you guys have or want to see done, I'm talking with these guys, and they can actually add it in this new platform. So, and they're all about not being censored. So, and taking your stuff down as content creators, it sucks. You create stuff and you get information down. That's my whole deal over there, is just to get more people to, and not being censored or cut out and deleted or guidelines. So go check it out. I got to get off here. Man, there's so much. I could stay on here forever talking to you guys. I love you, and Danny, and we got to talk some more.
Thank you for having me on, EJ, and I do appreciate it. I didn't think I was going to be able to come up because, like I said, this is a brand new account and I don't have very many followers on it. So I was like, before, way back then, you had to have 1,000 to go live. So it's
they pick and choose or whatever. I think if you have 500 or something like that, if you're in good standing, someone invites you or something like that, or if you stand on one foot and say words like banana and don't say the C word. They say China has trains. You're good.
Yeah. Well, I will definitely connect with you on YouTube. I'll follow you over there. I didn't know you were on so many because, like I said, I'd been off for a little bit. I needed a break. I got, like I said, 15 accounts taken away, and I got burned out, constantly getting banned or them taking my accounts and trying to help people. And so finally I was like, you know what? I'll just take a quick break. And when I came back, I was like,
thank you, Melissa.
Trying to find everybody again. It's been kind of chaotic.
So if this is, make sure you get another account right now and follow everyone that you follow now on this other account.
Yeah.
Or you can go to someone that you trust, that you've been following for someone while and have the same like-minded interest or whatever, like myself or whatever, and you could just follow everyone on their list. That's how you build other accounts without having to, go live and, to do videos and requests or whatever and duplicate that. That's how I discovered that long time ago and was able to, go, build 1,000, whatever, if needed. But if you want to do another totally different direction than people that you're following, then that's an option too. But follow someone in your same field or your same niche.
Yeah, a lot of people in here, if you ever want to go follow someone that's really cool too, and I know you know him, EJ, is, Deadeye Two Tongues. He's amazing. Yes. Laura's amazing. There's so many on here, just like yourself. I had to run to find y'all. And Paula would be like, "Hey, it's Danny." They wouldn't give me my name back, but it's me.
Deadeye usually, he's one on my first panel or whatever. He comes in here and he's been on my live. We've talked, on my Saturday morning deal.
Yeah.
And I did invite him. He's doing stuff, middle and stuff. I'm surprised Forge Around and Find Out was able to come in here, and I appreciate him so much. Of all the stuff that's been happening, Deadeye as well. Some of the stuff that's been happening. Tournament events and life
Right.
itself. Like I said, we all have amazing stories, and these guys are still going through it. And man, I couldn't be Forge Around and Find Out right now, brother. I don't know how you're, and I commend you. I don't know if you're listening, brother, but you have all my sympathy and everything, man. And you too, Danny. I mean, you guys are all amazing, and we're going to keep doing what we're doing because something motivated us, and we're going to keep sharing that and preaching that on.
We're
Hey,
family.
thanks. Yes. Yep. And I got to get out of here. Like I said, I love you all. I don't know what else to say, but I love you all. Thank you for the support and everything. This means so much to me. Just being able to do this and having you all in one place at one time. Danny, please come back and join another roundtable with us. I'd love to have another live with you on a Saturday, and so everyone can actually meet you again and reacquaint, and you can just part of the family. And welcome back.
Thank you. And I would love to be back, and I would much love to everybody here. And if I'll go and check my messages and reach back out to a few people, and I'll set some consultations up for whoever needs it and help.
Good. Love you all. You all take care.
All right,
Thanks
okay.
for everything. Like I said, if you missed it, see you back. It'll be loaded on YouTube. Appreciate. If there's no sunshine where you're at, make your own. Love you all. From them farms to your home.